Welcome, Pewter Report readers, listeners, and viewers to another edition of Pewter Game Day edition of the Pewter Report podcast. We are here just about 45 minutes from kickoff for Giants, or 55 minutes, I guess I should say. I'm not very good at math. That's why I'm in this field, but 55 minutes from kickoff until Giants Bucs on Monday Night Football. We're very excited for it. Excited to be back. It feels like it's been a long time since the Bucs fell to the Washington football team in week 10, 29-19. And with me to preview this one as the Bucs try to get off this 2-game slide that they're on is JC Allen, PewterReport.com. I'm John Ledyard from PewterReport.com. And JC, we're excited because the Bucs get a chance to get back in the winning column. In the Pewter Report show, we haven't been in here since Thursday. So it feels like a long break for us to go 3 days without seeing our wonderful Pewter Report Bucs fan audience, and they haven't seen you for a while either. So glad to have you back on the show. Glad to be here as we are breaking down Bucs Giants.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is, first of all, glad to be back. I want to thank the whole Pewter Report staff. Amazing personal problems going on in lifestyle, but so amazing job. But I'm so happy to be back. And you're right. It's so weird. Usually it's Thursday and then Sunday we have the pregame, in-game, post-game. But on a Monday night game, it's that extended break. It builds up the anticipation more, but it also builds up, the miss factor. Like I missed listening, I missed watching. So hopefully this will lead into a perfect game from the Buccaneers, because after those 2 losses and that week in between to really let it stew, they need to come back and they need to win, especially. And we talked about this last week, how the Bucs were set up in a perfect position to go and capitalize and seize control of the NFC again. It looks like it's happened again in the crazy NFL. They have a really good chance to boost their case to get that number 1 seed, something you wrote about. And it starts with a big win here against New York in Tampa.
Absolutely. And we'll start with the shout out to our title sponsor. Celsius powers active lives every day with essential functional energy. I got the blueberry pomegranate. I see you also. Yeah. Having a little Celsius heat action here. Celsius, man, I'm telling you, no sugar in these things, but unbelievable taste and a crazy variety of flavors. I just got stocked up recently again, so I'm enjoying it. I got the wild berry going the other day. You can see a bunch of the flavors right there on the screen, but great flavors. The taste is unbelievable. These things are truly game changers. An energy drink that doesn't have the bad stuff in it, like other energy drinks do, and doesn't have the crash like other energy drinks do. It'll sustain you. It'll give you the energy you need. It'll be just the right amount, Celsius, and it'll taste great too. So make sure you check it out, Celsius.com. Click those banner ads over at PewterReport.com too. We got some new banner ads up over there. Make sure you're clicking those, click through those, and check out Celsius and all the products that they have to offer over there. Okay, let's get to the injuries here, JC, because there are a number that are pretty important in this one. We've got for the Bucs tonight, Scotty Miller did not get activated from injured reserve. Sean Murphy-Bunting did. Zach Triner, the long snapper, did, but not Scotty Miller. So interesting decision, but it kind of felt like it might go this way when Bruce Arians on Saturday was like, Scotty's ready to go. It's just a matter of need. We can bring up Perryman and let Scotty get one more week to get where we want him to be. And I don't know if it's more 100% or whatever it is. I personally think Arians wants to see some of Perryman. He wants to see what he brings to the table, and he wants to get him some game action this week. So I think we'll see what Perryman have 1 or 2 snaps last week. I think we'll see a little bit more than that, but Scotty Miller still not up for this game. He will need to be activated, I believe, by tomorrow. So he will be up for the Colts game, or will be available for the Colts game back on the roster, and they'll need to make a decision then as to what kind of a roster move they're going to make. But he's down tonight, and Antonio Brown is down as well. So wide receiver in a familiar position, just same place they were last week too. Despite all the conversation, Godwin's probably a little bit healthier, but Evans, Godwin, it's going to be Tyler Johnson as the wide receiver 3 pretty heavily. And then maybe you'll see Brashad Perryman 8, 9, 10 snaps would be my guess if he's passed up Jalen Darden at this. I think they'd rather not play Jalen Darden on offense. You agree with that as long as Perryman shows a pulse?
Yeah, if he can. I mean, I think it's just an interesting decision, like you said, and you pointed this out earlier in the group chat. You only have 2 elevations for practice squad guys, and you're burning your second one of Rashad Perriman when it looks like if you're gonna activate Scotty Miller. I mean, why not do it tonight? If he's been practicing the past 2 weeks,
right.
I was kind of excited. They brought up a Triner instead, and they have Tinker. I was like, what's Bruce got up his sleeve with some 2 long snapper sets out there? I don't know. But instead they decided to keep Tinker on the roster and not bring up Scotty. Very interesting. Yeah. But yeah, I think you're looking probably 8 to 10 snaps. Use him as a speed guy on the outside. I mean, that's what he's really known for, is his ability to stretch the field. Because if you look at what the Giants can do too, they've got a bunch of guys that can stretch the field on you. So maybe this is Bruce's way of saying, hey, we got this guy, we'll see. But, it could also be the same. Let me see what he has. And if we can find a spot to elevate him to the active roster, let's do so.
Yeah.
Because McClendon has been a healthy scratch every single week the last couple of weeks, besides today, because Vita Vea is not going.
Right. Yeah. We appreciate the $5 super chat. Matthew, love your show. Please do not call Daniel, Dennis, David, Donna, or Denise. No question. Not going to do that, probably, considering the way that went down with Heineke last week. But all in good fun for sure. On top of Scotty Miller and Antonio Brown being out, Josh, we appreciate that $5 super chat present for Scott. He will be on the pregame show here in a little bit, so you'll all be able to offer your props and cheers to Scott, who had a little back procedure thing done today, but he's probable for the matchup. He texted me, he's probable for the game. So we'll see how he's doing. He'll probably be on the post-game podcast if everything's going.
That's how warm-ups go.
Yeah, it's hard to keep that guy out of the lineup. Let's put it that way. Cornerback Carlton Davis and cornerback Richard Sherman and cornerback Rashard Robinson all down this week. So those guys are not playing, obviously, all 3 are on injured reserve. So that leaves them. The good news is D. Delaney is cleared from concussion protocol. So he is available. Sean Murphy-Bunting is up. So he is available as well. So no reason to elevate Bleedy Ray Wilson. My guess is you'll see Jamel Dean at right cornerback. We'll see with the nickel spot. Last time Mike Edwards stepped in, basically played the whole game. Ross Cockrell played 9 snaps. Edwards was the nickel. Bulls said this week it was matchup based. They played a ton of zone, hardly any man against Washington. Edwards is a better zone defender than Cockrell. I don't know if it's that simple, but that's probably part of it. Don't know what the matchup will be this week. We'll see what they end up doing with that nickel spot. And then at the other cornerback spot, if SMB can go full bore, then he's your guy at left corner. If not, you're going to have Delaney in there for sure. You might see some Pierre Desir. I really don't know how they'll play it or how they even tier that group right now. Delaney ahead of Desir feels a little bit funny considering Desir has this wealth of NFL experience, and Delaney is just straight up not been very good when he's out there this year. But I guess Desir hasn't been great either.
He had that 1 interception game that was,
Yeah, he was okay against the Bears, I guess. But he has been opportunistic when he's been even gotten preseason. But that's the situation. Then, of course, the big injury is Vita Vea right now, doubtful for this one going into it, and he will not play tonight. Hopefully the Colts game, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. They did not think it was going to be a long-term one, but PR going to pull a Belichick, and Scott's going to be probable for the rest of his career. Hey, wouldn't surprise me. Actually, I guess he was a maintenance day yesterday. I didn't hear from Scott on a Sunday where the Bucs don't play, man. You're not going to hear from Scarrell's got. He need that day. So I didn't hear from Scott yesterday. I'm not sure what his status was. Y'all could ask him. But for the Giants, Jabril Peppers and Logan Ryan are both down. Peppers has been on IR. Logan Ryan with COVID. So both are starting safeties for a team that likes to play a lot of 3 safety looks. What's that?
Nate Ebner too.
Yeah, and then I was going to say Xavier McKinney has stepped in and played really, really well. So he might have been one of their starting safeties eventually here anyway. And he probably was going to be or trending that way, or already kind of was. So they're not like without talent at that position. Julian Love who's played mostly in the slot this year in their 3rd safety packages, will step in and he'll be the other safety tonight. And then I would imagine, normally you would have seen Nate Ebner and they would have kept those 3 safety packages rolling, but now he is not playing either. So they're down 3 of their top 5 safeties.
And a top special teamer as well.
Yeah, and one of their best special teamers, absolutely. And one of the guys that Joe Judge really relies on. So, I guess we're going to see what if they go those 3 safety packages they like, might see J.R. Reed with his first. I don't think he's played a defensive snap this season, so he might get his first action of the season in that regard. Or maybe it's a traditional dime with 4 corners out there. We'll see. Lorenzo Carter, one of the starting edge rushers for the Giants, is out. Blake Martinez has missed most of the season. Their best off-ball linebacker. They are really weak at the linebacker spot. And then on offense, not too many injuries. They get Andrew Thomas back from injured reserve, the left tackle. That's going to be critical. Huge move for tonight's matchup. He's played really well in his second season, but slot receiver Sterling Shepard is out of this one. Questionable were a couple guys for the Giants.
I think Andrew Thomas went on IR, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He's activated now. Today he got activated to return.
Oh, today. Yeah,
okay. So
so
he should be out there starting at left tackle. He practiced pretty well all week, and then Nate Solder will be at right tackle for the Giants. Saquon Barkley, Devontae Booker were questionable. I think they're going to play. Caden Smith didn't sound as likely. Don't think he made the actives list. And then inactives for the Bucs, there weren't a whole lot of surprises, I would say, right? Josh, this was pretty much what you expected. It was positive to see that Raheem Nunez-Roches, who kind of showed up on the injury report with an ankle injury, he seemed to be good to go.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at the same guys. Kyle Trask, still waiting to get that Kyle Trask in-game experience. If the Bucs have everything wrapped up in that Panthers game, maybe they'll get him out there. But Nick Levet, another guy, he's inactive. It's been the same group of guys for the most part. Vita Vea, as we said, he's also on that inactive list, dealing with the injury. He should be back hopefully next week. Andrew Adams, which was a surprise to me because he's their 4th safety, but and a great special teams player. But they got Ross Cockrell back there. Carson Tinker, again, as I mentioned, no double long snapper packages out there, and Antonio Brown, of course, is another guy.
Right. Okay, let's look at this when the Bucs have the ball in this matchup, JC. Offense, worst game of the year, not even close against Washington. Not even close, because it was a lot of self-inflicted stuff in the first half. Then the second half, they just hardly got any opportunities. They scored on 2 of their 4 drives, scored touchdowns on 2 of their 4 drives. I thought had an egregious missed penalty on a 3rd down near midfield. Didn't go for a couple 4th and shorts that they definitely should have in terms of numbers of it. It was definitely situations where they should have gone. It's just pretty much ugly game plan. Everybody played pretty bad other than Wirfs and Donovan Smith pretty much. It just wasn't good at all from a unit the bar is just way higher than that. So now you find out what kind of team they are, in my opinion, in this game. When I say like how they're built, I'm not talking about like talent wise. I know that they're the best. In my opinion, this is the best roster in the NFL. They should win the Super Bowl, especially a year where it seems like there's so much parity. If the Bucs get it together, they should be that kind of team. But how you're built is different than that. It's the mental mistakes. It's the constantly beating yourself. It's the drop passes, an area where they were among the league leaders last year, and it's carried over into too many important games this year. Penalties have plagued this Arians group for 3 years now, off and on, mostly on though. It's been that kind of stuff, right? Like, and then defensively, we'll get to the issues there, but offensively, those are the main things, right? Making it harder for yourself because you're not relying on play action passing. Now you face a Giants team. I think you're going to see a lot of similar coverage shells to what you saw against Washington. I really do. I think you're going to see a lot of 2 high safeties, a lot of safety rotations, a lot of taking away the vertical portions of the field. The Bucs are going to have to get better short to intermediate. They've made some changes and gotten better in that area, but they need to keep making changes and keep getting better. And one of the easiest ways you can do that is play action, JC. They just haven't done it very much.
Yeah, and I mean, you're looking at now, teams think they have a blueprint on how to slow down the Bucs and limit their explosive plays and stop them. But really, it's you're right. I mean, play action is going to help you change that and just going for it. You got to keep these teams honest. And when you're only attempting 1 or 2 deep balls a game like they did in Washington and only completing 1, I mean, they're still going to continue to play that way. So this Bucs team has enough talent, and I know they're missing AB. They're getting Gronk back. We'll see what kind of Gronk he is. Obviously, if he's anything better than he was in the Saints, that might be a helping point on this offense. But I think you're right. Utilizing play action, even if you don't set up the run, because we know you don't have to set the run up to utilize play action. You can see the numbers are there, and you wrote about that this week. The numbers when teams are utilizing play action versus when they're not is night and day. And the Bucs have the personnel to do it. They just need to do it more often, or else you're still going to get these same looks by teams, and they're going to challenge you to challenge them. And that's something the Bucs haven't been able to do, whether it's been, as you mentioned, drops, penalties, or just not performing. And that they need to turn it around now, because, man, they're not going to get many more chances and opportunities to stay in this hunt for the top seed in the NFC And especially with the schedule they're coming up, they've got some teams that look like they're turning it around, like the Colts next week.
Absolutely. I mean, and obviously offensively, it starts with Tom Brady. Well, it starts with the game plan and the coaching staff. We'll check in on that as we go here, but we talked about the play action already being the number one thing that they need to do. Feels like we harp on that kind of stuff all week, but for Brady, yeah, I mean, you've got to see and pull the trigger on stuff down the field. And I think that I don't think that was necessarily an issue early in the game last week. I think later in the game it was. He still ended up hitting Evans deep. I don't think it's nearly ever been the issue that people make it out to be. Obviously, I mean, he's among the air yards leaders and 20 plus air yard pass leaders, deep ball leaders last year. It's obviously not like a chronic issue for.
It hasn't been recently though.
Yeah, it just has to be. The toughest part, honestly, for Tampa Bay is they can't do it at the volume right now because of the way teams are playing them that they were doing. I wrote about it in Bucs briefing this past week. They were throwing it deep at an astronomical rate early in the season. Then teams adjust. I don't know why they don't start the season that way against the Bucs. I don't know what they think is going to happen, but for Arians, like Tyron Leftwich, Tom Brady, they're going to go down the field. But now it's just about adjusting your play callings to match some of the coverages that you're getting from these teams and finding ways. Okay, can you attack teams middle of the field and own the intermediate portions of the field if teams are going to stop you from getting vertical on the outsides and the seams and so on and so forth. So he's got to pull the trigger to those areas of the field, I think, for sure. But yeah, definitely no question that needs to be an improved area of the offense. And then everybody's going to be looking at Mike Evans in this one. Mike Evans has dominated the Giants in his career, JC. This has been it's been one of his best opponents that he's played against. He has 6 touchdowns against the Giants in his career, and all those have come in his last 4 contests against the Giants. James Bradbury, last time they met last year, Bradbury, I guess, gave him fits in Carolina, but last year when these two teams met, Evans had 5 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown, but the tape was even worse. This was actually James Bradbury's lowest graded game of the year by Pro Football Focus by far. He had a great year. He was below 50 in the grade, and he was on Evans almost every play, but Evans really beat him up pretty good. He and Brady were just off timing wise on a couple of big plays. This could have been a huge game for Evans. Still ended up obviously turning in a real winning performance. They played without Chris Godwin. They played without Antonio Brown before Antonio Brown. So they were not quite as loaded up offensively in this game as they will be tonight. But Evans was still really good. And now this year you go to the Giants and they're playing a ton of zone coverage and you wonder how much you're going to see those two one-on-one.
Yeah, and Evans, as you mentioned, has just been the Achilles heel for this Giants team. No matter who's been back there in 5 games, he's 116 yards per game is his average for 18 yards per catch and 25 first downs. So he's not only been a touchdown scorer, but a chain mover for this offense, and he's going to need to see more of that. And like you said, it's going to be very interesting to see if Bradbury's on him playing man coverage, if they're going to play zone. But I fully expect Brady and Evans to connect early and often. Godwin, for all reports, his foot seems to be doing better, but we'll see once it's game time. I think Tyler Johnson knows he's got to step up and perform a little bit better than last game. And having both of those guys step up, especially if they're playing zone, is going to create more opportunities for Mike Evans. The thing is, they got to capitalize it. Brady's got to find him. He's got to make sure he's going through his reads and it starts up front, though. We know that. I mean, it starts up front. If he's getting hit, if he gets hit early and often, because you've got some big guys up there who can get after you, he's going to shy away from those deeper balls. So, but if they can protect him well, I think Evans is going to have a real big game tonight.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the keys for this game, and also how much they move around Mike Evans will be interesting to see. Bradbury and Adoree Jackson pretty much just outside corners for the Giants this season. James Bradbury, for example, has only played 40 snaps all season in the slot, and Adoree Jackson has only played 39 all season in the slot. Yeah. So, yeah, there's no question those guys don't move around very much. Maybe the Giants changed that up. Last year, Bradbury did follow Evans into the slot on occasion. Those were not some of his better moments. So he is primarily an outside corner, and I would like to see the Bucs keep moving around Mike Evans. And if Bradbury's going to follow him, I think that they're going to be able to hit a big play or two in that capacity offensively. Real quickly, the pass rush in this game, with the run game, we kind of know what it is for the Bucs. When they get to it, they have to be efficient with it. The Giants are just adequate as a run defense this season, actually struggling kind of as a run defense this season. And I think you'll see plenty of, I think you'll see the Bucs try and get outside on them. Arians hyped up their D tackles all week. And a couple of weeks ago, if you remember, he said one of the best parts about diversifying their run scheme is that they don't have to run duo all the time, right at everybody's D tackles when they face a team with really good D tackles. He knows this is the case with the Giants. So trying to get outside and challenge their very inexperienced edge defenders and their very poor linebackers this season, is going to be the bread and butter for this Bucs offense in the rushing game. I think they can have success, but using the run game on proper downs and distances is going to be critical to their success tonight when they run the football. Let's talk about the pass rush. Bucs offensive line, obviously fully healthy going into this game. Giants missing Lorenzo Carter, as we mentioned, for this game up front. Not that he's had a great season. Azeez Ojulari, their rookie edge rusher, has been probably their best edge guy. And then Leonard Williams is, a chance for Ali Marpat to have a little bit of a redemption game against Leonard Williams last year. It was a tough one for both of them. Both of them had some good wins. It's a good battle. But Marpat coming off some losses to John Allen, at least in the first half of the Week 10 game. He's got to have a big game against Leonard Williams, I think. If he can do that, then Giants pass rush might be stymied pretty quickly tonight.
Yeah, I think that's exactly, Ali Marpat has to redeem himself, not only from last year, because last year is last year, but from last week. I mean, he got beat bad pretty on some of those pass rushes by John Allen, and I've been campaigning all pro for him all year, and that performance, I'm like, oh, maybe Pro Bowl is just where it should stop there. But he definitely needs to turn around. Leonard Williams 5.5 sacks, ties the team lead with Azeez Ojulari, their rookie from this year. So I think they can step up to the challenge, but it's going to take everything he's got, because Leonard Williams is a beast, and if he gets going, forget about it. And again, another PewterReport.com plug. We wrote about how that not enough space in the middle contributed to Tom Brady's lack of success. So that's been the blueprint. The Giants discovered it first, if you want to call it that, with the pressure up the middle, taking away the pocket. And if they can do that, then it's going to be a long night for Brady.
Yeah, and it's the Achilles heel for any quarterback, right? Like, because you're off your platform, it forces you to play the game off schedule, and so that's going to be key for the Bucs to shut that down. Obviously, then you go to the Giants offensively and what they like to do, and it really, they want to be able to run the football. They've wanted to be able to run the football, and Judge has been there. They actually ran it okay against the Bucs, who had the number one run defense last year, and when the two teams met. But they weren't running it well before then, and we kind of have a similar situation in our hands, at least in terms of the before, because right now the Giants just really have not been able to get the run game going. Saquon Barkley's been kind of not fully healthy the whole year, and it hasn't really mattered when he's in there, the offensive line scheme, and none of it's really worked super well for them. It's so important that the Bucs be able to shut that down tonight. Everybody's without Vita Vea, it's going to be easier. Maybe, but remember, the Bucs went from first in run defense to first in run defense last year without Vita Vea for 12, 11 games. So, I mean, this is still an elite run defense. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, that's just the reality. So, though you got to play like it tonight, they got to play up to that level. But going into this game, Giants 25th in rushing yards per game going into the game, and 26th in yards per attempt. For example, you don't think of the Bucs running game as that vaunted. Bucs are actually 16th in yards per attempt right now across the NFL. It's the highest they've been since I've been covering the team, I believe. And so they're 10 league ranked spots ahead of the Giants right now in terms of rushing. That's how much the Giants run game has struggled. So they want to be able to throw the football, but it just hasn't come together for that part of their offense at all so far this season, JC.
No, and they're only averaging 3.9 yards per carry as well. They're not getting enough on their rundown. And you mentioned Saquon Barkley coming back from injury. Booker's still dealing with an injury as well too. So both of their running backs are dealing with injuries. And again, you mentioned it. I think the key is this scheme that the Bucs play is just made for stopping the run, right? It didn't matter when Vita left. They're going to plug Steve McClendon in there. They'll use Nacho, maybe some Pat O'Connor. It's going to be difficult for them to get the running game going. Again, maybe they can get some of the, using the running back in the passing game as a crutch to the running game. Maybe that works a little bit, but purely rushing the ball, I just don't see them being able to get anything going on the ground. I mean, you just look at what they're averaging per game too. It's
tough. Yeah. Not been a path of success for them for sure. Josh, we appreciate the $5 super chat. Any concerns about design touches for Tony against tackling issues for Bucs? Design touches, he hasn't even done that much damage on, but whenever Kadarius Toney gets the ball in his hand, it's going to be dangerous. I want to talk about those Giants weapons in a second, but first, I want to let everybody in the chat know right now, if you all hit the like button on YouTube, you'll help us out tremendously. If everybody punches that like button, that thumbs up button, you'll help us out tremendously. It helps our YouTube SEO or whatever you want to call it. So we're popping up and showing up on more people's screens, and more people like, oh, the Pewter Report podcast. This seems like a pretty cool thing. Let me check this out. So if everybody could hit that like button and help us out as you're watching, that would be, really appreciated. That and all our videos, really, if you're ever in here, you get a chance to roll through and hit the like button on a bunch of our videos while you're listening or watching to us. We've discovered it really helps. So we appreciate y'all doing that. And of course, subscribe to the Pewter Report TV YouTube channel as well, because lots of great stuff.
Almost at 6,000 followers there.
Yes, we're 29 subscribers as the start of the show away from 6K. So it'd be awesome if we hit it tonight. Maybe we can get 29 new people in here, but we need y'all help to do it, to try and hit that 6K mark by the end of the show, obviously. So appreciate the heck out of y'all. Also would be so remiss if I didn't mention, boom, our friends over at Whiskey Wings Sports Bar and Grill in Temple Terrace. Wings, great burgers, great drinks, indoor bar, outdoor bar. This is a great place to watch the game. Head over to whiskeywings.com. You can check out all the specials that they have, whether it's the Bucs game, whether it's Monday Night Football tonight and you're looking for a place to roll out, or if you're literally just looking for college football on the weekends and Thursday Night Football, whatever, a place to go out with your friends and have a great time. This is the place to do it, man. Whiskey Wings Sports Bar and Grill, Temple Terrace. They got a location in St. Pete as well, but the wings, all the food is unbelievable. That chicken sandwich is actually even bigger than it looks in that picture in real life. The food's great. The service is great. The atmosphere is awesome. Tons of screens and just a nice, clean atmosphere. It's awesome. Whiskey Wings is a great place. I'm a big fan, a big believer in what they're doing over there. So head on over there, check it out. Indoor bar, outdoor bar, beautiful spot to watch a game and take in some football or whatever sport you're into this weekend. Okay, yeah. JC, we're going to talk about this Giants passing game. How are they so bad with all these weapons? They've got Kenny Golladay. They've got Evan Ingram. They've got Kyle Rudolph. They've got Kadarius Toney. Sterling Shepard's out tonight, but they've had him. Darius Slayton was taking the league by storm as a rookie. Everybody was like, why aren't you putting him in your top 3 rookie receivers or whatever, like for that year? Remember, it was an unbelievable class. But I remember Twitter flipping out on me. Like he's flashed enough to be a good player. What is going on? Why aren't they better? They have all these weapons. They have a quarterback who they feel like is their guy, top 10 pick. It just hasn't come together at all.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea, to be honest. I think obviously line play has been part of that, not giving Daniel Jones enough time. Daniel Jones' quarterback ability has been a part of that as well.
Sure,
but it is shocking because there's another guy, another first-round pick you didn't even mention. The speedster John Ross is on that team too.
Oh, forgot all about him. Yes, and he's made a couple big plays this year.
Yeah, that's. And to be honest, that's what makes me nervous the most about this team tonight, because if Daniel Jones can find some of these guys, the Bucs corners, they're skeleton group out there that they're throwing out there, and SMB is going to, but he'll probably be on a snap count, as Bruce said. They're not going to play him the entire game. We'll see if that's true or not. Bruce loves to say things, but if you got Dean on Golladay, you're taking away your fastest cornerback and saying, hey, Kadarius Toney, Darius Slayton, John Ross, Delaney, Desir, Cockrell, try to cover these speedster guys. So I wouldn't be surprised if they use a combination of those guys on Golladay and put Dean on one of the faster guys, because I mean you need to utilize that speed. And it's also going to be interesting too if Dean does go on those faster guys, because everyone's going to have flashbacks right now. Faster guys, Dean double moved multiple times last year. If Dean cannot get bit by some of these faster guys on double moves.
You're exactly right. That was, I mean, we joke around this game a lot in Bucs circles, just because this game was horrible for the Bucs defense last year, and they just got away with it because Daniel Jones was awful. Like, both the picks he threw were brutal. Levante David dropped a pick. Yeah. There were a couple. I think there were more than one drop pick. Like, I mean, they're a 2-point conversion away, and he would a dude wide open, and he waits to throw it. Winfield makes the play, breaks it up. But like, he literally missed like 3 wide open touchdowns, at least 2 on Dean, 1 on Carlton Davis, which doesn't happen. He bet on a double move. They went after those guys, and he missed, at least 3 touchdowns with nobody within 10 yards of the receiver. It's one of the worst most egregiously bad quarterback games I can remember. He still made a couple good throws too to bring him down back, obviously, to have a chance to tie the game. But it was a brutal game for the Bucs defense. So how much have they learned from that? Jason Garrett is obviously, as we talked about, all the talent he has at his disposal and how much he struggled. Yeah, Clapper Garrett, he's just struggled immensely in that regard. So there is just a ton of question marks for this Giants team. If it wasn't week 11, I would be even more scared. I still am because there is a lot of talent on this team, but it just feels like they cannot get out of their own way and figure it out on that side of the ball. They have just way too much talent to be at some of their offensive ranks across the league right now are just, 24th in points per game, 21st in yards per game. They are up to 16th in passing yards per game, but a lot of that's because they've trailed pretty badly and some of these games have been throwing the whole time. Yeah, they're only 21st in passing yards per attempt. So, they're not even hitting explosives at the rate that they'd like to. Only 23 20-plus yard pass plays this season. That's 29th in the NFL, JC. Bucs, in comparison, are second in the NFL with 43 20-plus yard. So 20 more 20-plus yard pass plays than the Giants. That's a crazy mark, and the Giants just have not been able to find those plays. It's been something that's plagued them this whole time. So lots to look forward to, obviously. But the time has come. We're going to bring him off the bench, off injured reserve. Scott Reynolds, ladies and gentlemen, is about to hop in this chat and blow your mind with his knowledge and analysis of the matchups to watch in this game. Scott Reynolds from pewterreport.com, ladies and gentlemen. He and JC are going to take you up until kickoff, and then Paul Atwal and I are going to be with you throughout the rest of the game. Paul and I are going to be with you. So we're going to be with you through the whole thing, live analysis, reactions, X's and O's, scheme talk, player evaluation, all of it. Paul and I got you covered throughout this game, throughout Monday Night Football. Make sure you stay tuned with us. Scott Reynolds, ladies and gentlemen, coming up with JC and the matchups to watch in this game. Make sure, hit that like, and make sure you're subscribing. Hit that like button on the YouTube video.
At A-Muni Financial, we help you live in the now.
Congratulations. We're so happy for you.
Thank you.
And even though the now may feel very different, you still need to plan for the future.
How's retirement treating you? Oh, just fantastic.
I know I say it all the time, but you really got to come up to Colorado.
Let's do it. All right.
Yeah. We can help you develop that plan to keep you on track so you can still prepare for tomorrow, today. A-Muni Financial. Plan ahead, stay ahead.
Managing your family's wealth means more to Mckinney Financial than simply allocating your assets. It means legacy planning, brokerage and advisory services, retirement accounts, college savings accounts, and insurance services. With 40 years of experience in the Tampa Bay area, let Mckinney Financial help you plan ahead and stay ahead. Call Mckinney Financial today at 1-800-868-6864 or visit them like I did online at mckinney.com. What's up, JC? How are you?
Scott?
What's up?
Good, how are we doing? Scott Reynolds, everybody.
Appreciate it.
How are we doing?
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm doing good. Doing really good. Had a little procedure today. I talked about it on Twitter. I'll spend a quick second about it. Thanking Greg Allman because he had a bout with skin cancer, I want to say 2 years ago, and kind of, put that on my radar. I'm 49 years old now, no spring chicken, living in Florida. It happens. So if you have any type of skin abnormality, I had like a little spot on my back that was itching, red, all that stuff, went and got it taken care of. So they got rid of the cancer early, so I don't think it's going to be a problem, but I appreciate all the well wishes. Thank you all. Listen, JC, speaking of well wishes, the Buccaneers have not been a very hospitable host to teams. And that's exactly what Buc fans want to see tonight. They want to see this Buccaneer team go to 5-0 at home, undefeated at Raymond James Stadium. And quite honestly, they'd like to do it the way they've been doing it, right? On the offensive side and the defensive side. You look at the offensive side, JC, at home sweet home, man. 40.5 points per game. And then on the defensive side, you look at what Todd Bowles has been able to do. 29 points surrendered in that game against Dallas on Thursday night. 25 in week 2 against the Falcons. 17 against the Miami Dolphins. And then the last home game, 3 points surrendered to the Bears. So we're seeing a whole bunch of scoring, and we're seeing a very good defensive performance, giving up fewer and fewer points. But JC, throw all that stuff out the window when you're talking about Bucs Giants, because it's always a close game between these two teams for some reason. Screw the style points. I want to see the Buccaneers have enough points to win this game.
Yeah, it's so weird because, obviously, the Bucs won the Super Bowl, and, they're standing in the division this year was obviously much better. And it just so happens they were playing the NFC South the NFC East. But because of their bad standings, they played the Giants this is, I think, the third year in a row, maybe fourth year in a row. So these teams are very familiar with each other.
Yeah.
The players know each other. The coaching staff, going from last year, knows each other. So there's a lot of familiarity between these two opponents right here. It's almost like they're your third divisional,
You're just about right
rival, because you played them so much over the years.
The Bears, the Giants, these are teams that keep popping up on the Bucs radar. It's kind of crazy. Let's go to the matchups real quick and take a look. One of the guys that, speaking of familiarity, that would have been really familiar to Tom Brady was Logan Ryan, but he's not playing tonight. So Julian Love, as you and John were talking about earlier, will get the start there. I think that the familiarity that Brian has facing Tom Brady in practice all these years might have shown up in this game, but with Love, I think that's a matchup Brady can win. He did a great job of manipulating the free safety's eyes on that Mike Evans touchdown, holding him in the middle of the field, allowing Evans to create that one-on-one matchup on the outside to give the Bucs a 40-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter of that Washington game. So I think this is a key matchup. Also, too, you guys mentioned Mike Evans, James Bradbury. And then also I'll throw in there Chris Godwin versus Xavier Mckinney, the strong safety. When you look at McKinney, it's interesting to note that he is really kind of overshadowing, to a degree, Logan Ryan. Doesn't have the experience, but he's a second-round pick out of Alabama, and he's had a really good year so far. He's a splash player, 7 pass breakups, leads the team with 4 interceptions, has a pick 6. He's a big-bodied guy, and I think that you're going to see a lot of Chris Godwin going up against Xavier McKinney in this game, because Tom Brady's going to want to test the middle of the field in that zone defense the Giants have, JC.
Yeah, I think, if Logan Ryan, and you mentioned it, if Logan Ryan was there, he's a guy who's practiced. He's a guy who, if you want to say, ended Tom Brady's career in New England with Tennessee.
That's right.
with that pick 6. So
yeah,
he's the guy you're not going to be able to do that with your eyes. He's not like what what Brady did last week with the Evans touchdown. Julian Love, however, is a guy who you can probably use your eyes to manipulate the field and manipulate guys open. So I think having him there, it's going to be a big test, obviously, for him, especially if they're calling some double coverage or some blanket coverage over the top for Evans. And so I think that's going to be a huge helping hand for Tom Brady in that matchup. As far as Bradbury and Evans, it'll be interesting again to see if they follow each other around. Does he follow in the slot, which I think gives Evans a big leg up and a boost up in that matchup. Even so, I mean, we've talked about what Mike Evans has done against the Giants. It hasn't been pretty. And Godwin versus McKinney, I think you have that big-bodied, strong safety. You're we know Chris Godwin's size, obviously his arms and his ability as a blocker.
This is a good physical matchup, as you're alluding to. Jason, it really is. That's
exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, I think this is going to be a good physical matchup between the two, especially when it comes to run blocking as well. I think Godwin's going to have his hands full with McKinney when it comes to that portion of his game. So it's going to be interesting to watch.
You bring up a good point about Bradbury. Now that he's put on a Giants uniform, it's like, he was Mike Evans' kryptonite. I mean, when he was a Carolina Panther, right? And we'll see now if the same Bradbury gets beaten like he did last year, and that is he's in a Giants uniform. Ali Marpat versus Leonard Williams certainly has to have a better game, especially the first half. Second half, I think he kind of rebounded, but Williams is their leading sacker, and he and Azeez Ojulari each have 5.5 sacks. So they do have an inside-outside punch there. And I'm not so much concerned about Azeez Ojulari because he is an undersized guy. I think Wirfs and Smith on the outside, I think they can handle him. They get the strength and the wingspan to do so. But Williams inside, that was a bit of a wake-up call last week with Jonathan Allen. Didn't get any sacks, but had 2 big hits on Tom Brady in the first half.
Yeah, hits and pressures. I mean, that's the name of the game, right? Sacks are always great. They're a nice stat. They put you out of reach in certain drives and out of first down distance. But if you can continue to get continuous pressure on the quarterback, you're going to disrupt his rhythm. You're going to disrupt his passing lanes. And we've seen then that's, again, John alluded to, every quarterback's kryptonite. But specifically for Tom Brady throughout his career, because he's so good at finding that half inch, foot, whatever he does just to buy that extra second of time in the pocket by just stepping up. If you take it away, it's hard for him to do that. He's obviously not a mobile quarterback. We've seen him roll out and have some pretty nice runs so far this season, but he's not going to beat you like that way. He's going to beat you by moving around the pocket, stepping up, and finding that extra bit of time to make that throw. And if Leonard Williams starts to get rolling and Ali Marpat struggles again this game like he did last game, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to, they're going to have to do something, whether that's calling Jensen over for some help, whether that's keeping a running back in for some more protection. I don't know, but you gotta make sure if you're Ali Marpat, especially after Mike Evans has been campaigning for you. I mean, who am I? But I've been campaigning for you for all pro. You got to bounce back. You got to bounce back big against Leonard Williams because he's going to get you.
Well, the Bucs have to bounce back big. The spread, according to my bookie, is 11.5. So that's, I don't know about that. I think it's going to be a closer game than that.
Losses.
Yeah, I really do. Yeah, and keep in mind too, Daniel Jones got his first win as an NFL starting quarterback. His first start at Ray J in 2019 against the Todd Bowles defense. So that was here, 32-31. So I don't see the Bucs winning by that margin.
Matt Gay's fault, or was that Jameis Winston's fault with all the interceptions?
Both.
The age-old question, the big debate. Yeah. The big debate there.
I mean, it's ultimately Matt Gay because he missed the kick, but I'm just saying. Speaking of my bookie, listen, it's time to double your deposit. Bucs Giants tonight. Use the promo code Pewter. But Thursday, Turkey Day, risk-free. Bet up to $250, risk-free. Raiders and Cowboys. So this year, Turkey Day at MyBookie gives you plenty of reasons to be thankful, starting with a $250 risk-free bet on Thursday afternoon when the Cowboys host the Raiders. Bet the spread between the Raiders and the Cowboys at MyBookie. When you win, you win. And if you don't, MyBookie is going to refund you up to $250. So, folks, this is a bet. You can't lose anything. Make the bet. Simply put, you can't lose. That's why they call it no risk, all gravy. Before you put your wager in, you're set up for success by doubling your first deposit when you use that promo code Pewter at MyBookie. That's promo code Pewter to double your initial deposit. When you do that, all the way up to $1,000, you're not going to need to break the wishbone just to be the one to come out ahead. Feast risk-free on Turkey Day with MyBookie, and make sure to stick around for seconds as they gear up for what should be a fun Black Friday with tons of odd boosts. They will have your belly and your pockets full. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.
Woo.
All right, guys. So here we go. We've got Pewter Game Day on in a matter of minutes. Stay tuned to that. We've got the last couple of matchups to watch here. Shaq Barrett, Nate Solder, Jason Pierre-Paul versus, we think, Andrew Thomas. He's up. He's going to play. He's practiced all week. If he tweaks that ankle, you might see Matt Pearce in there, who's not been that great of a backup. He's played left and the right side. But listen, JPP and Shaq have been invisible the last 2 weeks. Speak quickly on both of those guys, JC. I think that Shaq Barrett needs to have a really big game against Solder, who's given up 3 sacks and 27 pressures this year.
Yeah, and if you look at it, Shaq Barrett, 3 career games against the Giants, 5 sacks, 7 quarterback hits, 2 forced fumbles, 4 tackle for losses. That's the type of game he's going to need to have. He's going to need to get after this guy and really put the pressure on Daniel Jones, make him move around the pocket, make him uncomfortable. And same thing with Jason Pierre-Paul. Now, JPP is obviously not as healthy, but he's played these Giants 2 times so far in Tampa in the regular season after starting his career there. 2.5 sacks, 3 quarterback hits, 14 tackles, 3 of them for a loss. You've got to get after Daniel Jones. You got to disrupt him. You got to make him feel uncomfortable, and that's going to be one of the keys to the game because, like I said, you can't let those downfield things develop with the speeches they got. You can't let things develop. If they're going to beat you with the speed, you got to make them quick screens and stuff like that where they're using the yak, but you can't let them beat you. Set up balls down the field. And it's right. Shaq and JPP. The
Bucs have done a pretty good job against tight ends. Evan Ingram is the Giants' tight end. He's not been too spectacular. He's got speed to get downfield, but he's only averaging 8.6 yards per catch. He's caught a 30-yard touchdown just a couple weeks ago against Las Vegas, or actually last week. So he's got 2 touchdowns on the season. I think that you're going to see the combination of both Levante David and Jordan Whitehead rotate and get on Evan Ingram and try to jam in with the line of scrimmage, disrupt those routes, and keep Evan Ingram in front of you.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you maybe see White somewhere in there as well. Hopefully not. But White watching pregame, he's got that energy, he's got that fire.
He does.
You can expect another big game out of him. But yeah, Whitehead and David, you got to limit Evan Ingram because he's probably one of their most reliable weapons. So funny saying that. One of their most reliable weapons right now in that passing game.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Then last but not least, you look at Sean Murphy Bunting or D. Delaney, one of those guys matched up against Kadarius Toney. And when you look at Sean Murphy Bunting, which Sean Murphy Bunting are we going to get back? Because he was not great against the Cowboys at all in that Week 1 game. I was off to one of his worst starts before he got hurt. So just because he's back, is he rusty? How much rust is he going to have to shake off? At this point, is he head and shoulders above D. Delaney or Pierre Desir from a talent standpoint? Yeah, on paper, but these guys, Delaire and Desir and Delaney, have been practicing and playing a lot. So this is going to be one to watch. The thing with Toney is he's extremely fast. He can make guys miss. The Bucs miss a lot of tackles. This is going to be a key matchup, JC.
Yeah, for sure. And that speed too. Kadarius Toney with the rest of the guys, Darius Slayton, John Ross, those guys can beat you with speed. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously we've seen Jamel Dean been one of the better cornerbacks, especially when it's been in man coverage over the season. Depends on what they're going to play, more man versus zone. Kenny Golladay is probably their most talented wide receiver when he's healthy. But really, are you going to match him up and put those other guys who are not as fast?
It is time for kickoff. It is time. Let's get this thing going. We're going to turn it over to John Ledyard and Paul Atwal for tonight's Pewter Game Day.
Welcome inside Pewter Game Day. I'm John Ledyard, PewterReport.com. With me is Paul Atwal, also of PewterReport.com. And Bucs Giants on Monday Night Football is already underway on the first play of the game. Brady goes play action and finds O.J. Howard for a gain of 10 yards. Paul, we're always trying to get synced up as we start these things. So where are you at right now? I'm seeing them line up for the next first down play right here.
14-27 and ticking.
Okay, I got 14-23, so you're maybe a little bit. Brady's throwing quick. Chris Godwin out on the bubble, and he's going to pick up 8 yards. So 2nd and 2 coming up for the Bucs offense. They pick up 10 yards on their first play, 8 yards on their second play. Now they're in 2nd and 2 from their own 45-yard line.
Yeah, I'm at 14:07 right now, John. You're a few ticks ahead.
Okay, all right. So we're kind of synced up, and hopefully y'all can be synced up with us as we watch. We'll break this one down for you as we go, and we'll give you as much play-by-play as we can. We'll give you as much analysis as we can as we do this. So Brady's going under center here, 2 receivers, 2 tight ends. Going to hand off to Chris Godwin around the right side, picks up the first down, going to cross over midfield into Giants territory, down to about the 48-yard line of New York, and another first down. So Bucs offense getting a line of scrimmage, moving things along, Paul.
Yeah, it was nice to see that play action on the first play, and second play taking advantage of that space that they're giving with that quick bubble screen to Godwin, or it might have just been a smoke route there. And now setting up this, John, this is what we talked about, right? They're setting up these favorable running downs, and this is exactly what they did. They created 2nd and short, and then now you're putting yourself in a position where it's favorable to run the ball by efficiency metrics.
Absolutely. And here's Brady he gives it to Mike Evans on an end around. So Evans is running the football, and he's got a 10-yard gain for a first down to the Giants' 38-yard line. You could tell Mike Evans has not taken many handoffs before because he bobbled that one pretty badly there, Paul.
Yeah, a bit awkward there. I'm glad that it was going to Evans, because if Brady were faking that, he was going to get sacked right there.
Yeah, no question about it. That's the first rush of Mike Evans' career, I believe.
Hey, when you get the chance, give yourself a quick pause. I don't want to get spoilers all night.
Okay, sounds good. I'll try. I'm ahead of you now a little bit. Here's Brady over the middle of the field, caught by Cam Brate. Ball was a little bit behind him, but he reaches back and catches it down to the Giants' 23-yard line.
Awesome adjustment there by Brate. Hard to know without the end zone view if Brady was doing that on purpose. We've seen that before, but great adjustment by Brate, because either way, intentional or not, that's a difficult catch over the seam.
Yep. Bucs going no huddle, by the way, to the 23-yard line. No,
we talked about this too, John, wanting them to go more no huddle because of what it does to defenses and how Brady can dissect it.
Yep, for sure. Brady going under center here. Hands off to Leonard Fournette over the right side, and Fournette's going to have a good gain. Falls forward on first down, going to pick up 7 yards down to the Giants' 16-yard line. So 2nd and 3 for the Bucs offense now from the 16 of the Giants.
That looked like that might have been some outside zone there, John. I'm not sure.
Yep.
I didn't get it. But another new element to their offense that's become a prominent part, from going from non-existent to suddenly a prominent part of their run game.
Right. Here is 2nd and 3. Brady quickly to Fournette, flips it out into the flat. Nice soft pass. Fournette runs through Bradbury and has the first down. So he needed 3 and he picked up 3 on 2nd and 3. And now it's 1st and 10 for the Bucs from the Giants' 13-yard line. So they can get a first down to the 3 before they get a touchdown if they need to.
Couldn't be a better start, right? Going up tempo, passing it all over the place. Fournette catching it out of the backfield. Another part that's a newer element to their offense as far as consistency goes. And couldn't ask for anything more so far.
Yep, teams are going to drop out and cover deep against you, and you're going to absolutely need to be a team that can pick teams apart underneath. Here's a quick throw out to Godwin, breaks a tackle and gets all the way into the end zone for the touchdown. So again, if you're going to play soft on the Bucs, they're going to pick you apart on the quick throws. They came out with the game plan. They knew how the Giants were going to defend them, and they score quickly on the first drive of the game, marched it right down the field. Dominant start for the Bucs offense.
And this is what this team is, John. Here it looks like the Giants are actually playing single high. That play action moves that safety over. He's out of position, though, unable to get that tackle on Godwin.
Yeah.
Good block there by Brady. I was scared he might be called for a hold.
Yeah. Brad, he never really held him. He did a good job of keeping it from grabbing it. And Bradbury actually just took I'm not even sure what that angle was, Paul. That was bizarre.
That's right.
He thought Godwin was going outside the whole way, and Godwin just was like, nope, I'm going to
I think just with Brady, with any blocker, I just get nervous when the hands are outside the shoulder pads or on by their rear delt kind of area.
You're exactly right. Yep.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. That is usually we're in the area of holding, and good job by the officials to see that he wasn't grabbing him or pulling him. That was actually Bradbury just running that weird angle there, not being pulled in that angle. So Godwin, great vision in the open field, makes a couple people miss, and it's 7-0. Less than 4 minutes into the game. And by the way, I just checked to make sure that was Mike Evans' first career rush. So Bucs fans, you expected to see a lot of things that you probably did not think you would see that one. But Mike Evans with the first career. I don't think the Giants expected it either, because almost nobody fell for that. They thought Brady was keeping that all the way, I think.
Yeah, that really looked like it. And by the way, John, a methodical drive there, right? I mean, obviously they picked up good yards on every play, but there was no real huge chunk gain. The biggest gain was that seam pass to Brate. But if teams are going to play this way, where they're going to play coverage, they're going to play too high shells, the Bucs, they had to. We talked about this going into the season, and they have done a great job of being patient, taking what's there. The only issue last week, John, was maybe the first time we saw that patient offense go against them. But that was more of an anomaly than it was, I think, rather than something that we saw being an issue going forward, right? Because in terms of Brady not seeing a few passes and that sort of thing. So overall, tell me if you saw it differently. But I think everything we've seen thus far this season so far tells us that they're ready to handle 2 high defenses.
Right. Yep. Completely agree. By the way, if you're in the chat, if you're watching us on the show while you're watching the game and you're tuned in, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We love it. Hit the subscribe button on Pewter Report TV. Even if you're like, oh, I don't know if I'll watch this again, but these guys are cool. Support what we do. Hit that subscribe button. Let the people know we're trying to get to 6,000 subscribers. I know we've had a couple of people subscribe since we started today. So we came in 29 short of 6,000. So we're hoping to get there. So help us out and hit that subscribe button. Then if you're already subscribed and you're already subbed up, or if you're just watching, at least hit that like button for us. That helps us a lot. It boosts our YouTube SEO, so we show up as the game goes on, will show up on more people's radar on YouTube. Hopefully we can pull in some new listeners, some new viewers as well. Richard says, can't say I ever remember Evans getting a rush. He's right. That's the first career rush for Mike Evans. Pat wants to know if we will comment on the game live. Yes, that is exactly what we're doing, Pat. We will comment on the game live, and we will give you some play-by-play as well here. We try to do play-by-play for just about every play if we can get to it. We're pretty synced up now. I think I hit that pause button, so we're pretty synced up. But yeah, all the likes and shares you guys can give us, y'all are our people, man. Y'all are the way we get out there to the rest of the world and let them know. So we appreciate y'all immensely as the Bucs get ready to kick it off to the Giants here with a 7-0 lead and 11:03 left in the first quarter.
So talk to me a little bit about this Giants offense, John. What do they do best?
They haven't really done anything well all season, to be honest with you, Paul. And it's unbelievable because what talent. I mean, they have Kyle Rudolph and Evan Ingram at 1-2 at tight end. You know, they're not elite, but they're good. Those are good 1-2 at tight end. They have Saquon Barkley, who hasn't always been healthy, but you know, he's a playmaker anytime he has the ball in his hands. They have Kadarius Toney, their first-round pick, looks like an absolute weapon. Kenny Golladay, big free agent contract. Darius Slayton had an impressive rookie year. No Sterling Shepard tonight, but he's normally a good slot receiver. Amazing how many weapons they have, and yet how lackluster they've been statistically, offensively this whole season. So it's going to be very interesting to see if this is a group that can have a better second half of the season for the Giants, because they certainly have way too much talent to be as bad as they are right now. And here's Daniel Jones giving Saquon Barkley going up the middle. The Bucs defense without Vita Vea, obviously, in this one, but they make the stop after a gain of maybe 2. And so it's going to be 2nd and 8 for the Giants offense from their own 27.
A 5-down look there from the Bucs defensive line. That's kind of what they base out of, right, John? It makes it pretty hard there to run the ball against them with just how big those bodies are up there.
Yeah, absolutely. It is important. And Sean Murphy-Bunting is out on the field at left cornerback. Mike Edwards is in the slot. So no Ross Cockrell to start this game. Jamel Dean at right cornerback. Whitehead and Winfield are deep and throw in front of Sean Murphy-Bunting, and it is a first down, 9-yard gain there to Darius Slayton right at the marker. So 1st and 10 for the Giants. They pick up their first down of the game on their second offensive play of the game. 1st and 10 from their own 36 now.
Such soft coverage there, John. I mean, I was excited by the package they had in there. They had Tryon Shoyinka on the inside of the D-line showing a really pass pressure type of look. But then they had, I think that was SMB, right, who's just way off of the line of scrimmage. He was behind the first down marker. I mean, that's the type of thing that's frustrating.
Yeah, now Sean Murphy-Bunting is in the game again, and Daniel Jones goes play action, and they go right at Murphy-Bunting, and the catch is once again made, this time Kenny Golladay. Murphy-Bunting was right there, press man coverage. He had good coverage. He was right there. He just somehow missed the ball. There's a 12-yard gain there for him, and you can see that coverage is tight. I mean, he's good coverage. You just got to make a play on that ball, and he's wearing that brace on his. He looks like he's got one of those robot arms on.
You live with that, John. You live with that result when that's your process. When your coverage is like that, that's much easier to live with than just giving them the free first down like they did on the play before.
Yeah, for sure. We'll touch more about the man coverage stuff in a second. Here's Daniel Jones from the Giants' 48-yard line. 3 backs in the backfield with him. Barkley right up the middle is going to pick up a great gain on first down, 8 yards. So it's early, but the Giants or the Bucs defense picking up right where they left off. Not really been able to do anything right on the first couple plays here. Giants kind of going right at them now in a very favorable 2nd and 2 and in Giants territory as well from the Bucs' 44-yard line.
Funky personnel and formation that you don't see a lot with that 3 running backs back there. Surprised.
Yeah, you don't.
Wonder if they go back to that.
Right. Definitely a little bit of a gadgetry look there. And remember, they had success moving the ball when Daniel Jones wasn't missing wide open people last year. They were moving all over Todd Bowles' defense. So here's Jones back to pass. Screen. It's tipped by Jason Pierre-Paul up in the air. That slowed things down a little bit. And now Devin White's able to get out there and make the tackle on Kyle Rudolph. But the officials looking like there's might be a flag here. And
he gave the offside symbol, but he pointed
to the offense.
Okay, now they're okay.
Now, and guess what? The Bucs were offside. Unbelievable. Came into this game 31st in the NFL. An unbelievable amount of that's pre-snap penalties. 31st in the NFL in pre-snap penalties. Defensive offside is laughable with this team. Like how often it happens. And Jason Pierre-Paul, truly the main culprit when it comes to that almost all the time. So it would have been a negative 1-yard play on 2nd and 2. Instead, it's a 1st and 10 for the Giants at the Bucs 39-yard line. Here's a man in motion for Jones, who's under center. Play action once again. Shaq Barrett is bringing the heat, chasing down Daniel Jones, almost gets him. Jones has to throw it away. So good job there by Shaq Barrett reading it out, and it's 2nd and 10.
And that was one of the matchups, I think, we talked about in the pregame, Scott and JC, right? Nate Soldier versus Shaq Barrett. Looks like Shaq Barrett's winning so far.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely been a good start for Shaq Barrett. Daniel Jones, the play action, man, they use it all the time, and it definitely gets him some favorable looks at times. We'll see if the Giants can take advantage as they go here. Ingram is in the backfield with Jones here, and so is Barkley, I believe. Here's the fakes the handoff. It's Booker, actually, and Jones is going to take it himself around the left side, and Jamel Dean drops him after a gain of about 6 yards, and so now it's going to be 3rd and 4 from the Bucs 33-yard line.
Another snap there, John, of the Bucs playing cover 2 zone, but with their cloud corners playing way off. They used to do this with their cover 3 zones last year, and they still do it, but now that they're mixing more cover 2, they're still playing so soft, which is weird because you have those 2 safeties behind you to support. You can be more aggressive theoretically, but that's not what the Bucs have been doing.
Right. And here's Daniel Jones on 3rd and 4 from the Bucs 33. Huge play in the game right here.
Look at those corners on the outside. Again, so much space here.
Yeah, you can almost just throw it right out there and it's an easy completion. And Jones pretty much does just that. And Ingram's right out there. Easy first down. Whitehead nowhere close in coverage. And that's a wide open pitch and catch down to the Bucs 24-yard line. So it's 1st and 10 now from the Bucs 24.
Yeah, you can run just a hitch if you want, or you can run a go flat combination, go out like they did here.
Yep.
So the outside guy kind of just running a clear out route. He's taking that corner up, and then the inside receiver is taking advantage of all that off coverage by just running a quick little out route. And when you're lined up like that, there's no stopping that.
Yeah, and one of the hard things is we talk about the pass rush, but what pass rush has a chance when guys are that wide open and things are that easy for the opposing offense? And part of it's being in 3rd and 4. It's just such a winnable situation for the offense. Here we go. 1st and 10. Handoff is to Barkley going up the middle. He stops his feet behind the line of scrimmage. Dean and Tryon Shoyinka stand him up and carry him back. So no gain for Saquon Barkley, and now it's 2nd and 10.
Yeah, I want to touch on what you just said there, John. It's the pass rush has struggled a lot throughout the season, but you're right. In those situations, they're not even given it a chance. But the reverse has been true too, where despite being so banged up, this secondary has held their own for the most part, and at times the pass rush has let them down. So They just haven't been able to get it all together, which is what they need to do.
Right. Here's 2nd and 10. Jones from the shotgun. 3 receivers to his right. He's going to roll out that way to his right. Throw underneath. Kadarius Toney. Murphy Bunting makes a quick tackle. Gain of 4. So 3rd and 6 from the Bucs 20-yard line is coming up.
Curious what the coverage was there on that one. Wasn't able to figure it out on the fly.
Again, we're in these 3rd down situations, right? Giants 1 for 1 already in this drive. Last week, the Washington football team was 11 of 19 on 3rd down and 2 for 2 on 4th down. So Bucs just got shredded. Unlike
the 3rd and 2s and 3rd and 3s that they were giving up all last week, this is a favorable down for the defense. They need to be able to win this one, and they're showing tight man coverage with blitz up the middle.
And here's Jones from the shotgun.
False start.
Yeah, definitely a false start on the right tackle. When uncalled, Jones throws. It's going to be incomplete. Now the flag comes in on Murphy Bunting. But I don't think they threw it on Nate Solder. It was 100% a false start, and I don't think they threw it. Also, that pass was not catchable, it looked like, in any way, shape, or form.
Horrible break, John. And the Bucs have been on the wrong end of a lot of these, unfortunately, so far. But
this is amazing.
That is
clear as day false start.
Yeah, that was terrible.
How do you miss that? My wife is yelling in the other room and texting me. He moved so early.
Clearly.
My goodness. I mean, that's
the line
a
judge
full
looking
second
at?
early.
What's 37 looking at?
I have no clue what that is.
You got 2 line judges. One's supposed to watch the defensive line. One's supposed to watch the offensive line. I don't know how you missed that.
Just a reminder, the Bucs have benefited from 41 penalties this year and 338 penalty yards on opponents. Both of those numbers are dead last in the NFL. So no team in the NFL benefiting less from penalties as Jones throws that one too far and outside for Kadarius Toney. 2nd and 10 from the Bucs 15-yard line coming out. At some point, you got to think that comes back around. But man, when you see that obvious of a false start go uncalled, you just start to have questions, man. And this one was open, by the way. Jones missed it.
Yep, he had that cross over the middle with that middle field zone player kind of sinking down a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, if you remember the last game last year, Daniel Jones missed at least 3 different touchdowns wide open down the field. And so it's going to be something that obviously determines this game for the Giants, I'm sure, as Jones Fakes the handoff. He's going to take it himself, but he's dropped pretty quickly. Sheem got maybe half a yard. Shaq Barrett brings down Jones, and McClendon's in a jawing match, and they've got to be careful, man. That's the oldest defensive tackle in the league, man. Just don't get face mask to face mask with somebody the way they're calling taunting penalties. That's one of your veteran oldest players. Like, you got to be smarter than that. No flag there, but they're lucky. You never know when it's coming. And the way the Bucs have gotten hit with penalties this year, you just can't be making those kind of mistakes as one of the oldest veteran players on the team. So here we go. 3rd and 9 from the Bucs 14-yard line. The Bucs are up 7-0. Giants are eating up a lot of the first quarter. Clock winds 4:36 and counting, and now a flag flies in, and this one might be on the Giants. The Bucs are pretty adamant that it wasn't them, and it is. It's the Giants. Will Hernandez, 5-yard penalty on the false start, and that one's going to be 3rd and 14 from the Bucs 19-yard line for the Giants.
The Bucs were again showing another too high, very soft zone look. It's hard to even tell with the corners being so far off. Is that cover 2 or is that quarters? But yeah, curious if they come out in that same look here. I would have to imagine they will, given what they've done so far today. I expect to see those corners way off, and I expect to see 2 high safeties. And on 3rd and 14, that's fair enough.
Yeah, for sure. And so this obviously got to get off the field situation, but also, can you keep it? It's not going to be that hard of a field goal no matter what you do, but 3rd and 14. Here's Jones from the shotgun. Takes the snap. Dropping back to pass. Does get outside Shaq Barrett, but here comes Joe Tryon-Shoyinka flying in with the pressure. Forces him to throw it away. I don't see any flags on the field. Miraculously, it's 4th and 14, and the Giants are going to have to settle for a field goal from the Bucs 19-yard line. Good job by Tryon-Shoyinka making sure that Daniel Jones couldn't get comfortable outside the pocket.
Yeah, very adamant to play the sticks there, not letting anything get behind him, keeping everything in front, and obviously the pass rush there, not giving Jones enough time to just see something break down. Because no matter how good your coverage is, if you have all day, you're going to get someone open. But They're complementary defense from the defensive line to the secondary.
Yeah, 37-yard field goal for Graham Gano is up and good. So it's 7-3. The Bucs lead, 4:04 left in the first quarter, and the Bucs offense is going to be able to get the ball back there. But lots of concerning signs for the defense. We'll see how it proceeds. Way to rise up in the red zone for sure. But definitely some concerning sides on that first drive. Good eye by Scott. I saw the same thing. Scott texting us that on that drive, Shaq Barrett, who has played almost all of his snaps at right outside linebacker since Jason Pierre-Paul came back from injury. Shaq normally played on the left side, JPP on the right side. JPP came back in week 5. Their snaps totally shifted, basically. Everything JPP was doing, Shaq's doing now, and everything Shaq was doing, JPP's doing now. But on that drive, Shaq was back on the left side, JPP back on the right side. So clearly they like that matchup with Shaq against Nate Solder. I wrote about that this morning in my column about the 3 big questions to answer for this game. Said I would do everything I can to get Shaq Barrett over Nate Solder in this game, even if it means Jason Pierre-Paul is a harder time with that shoulder winning that matchup on the other side. I'm guessing that's why he moved sides. Looked like Jason Pierre-Paul against Andrew Thomas that whole last drive. Shaq Barrett getting a lot of pressure early on, got through a couple times. Got to see him finish, obviously, but it's going to be a lot easier to do when the coverage holds up.
Yeah, that's right. And that was a good prediction by you, or a good call by you to ask for that matchup, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Thank you.
I just want to point out on that last play, great job by Tryon-Shoyinka. He lined up as the 3 tech on the offensive left side of the formation for the offense, and Jones rolled out to his right, and Shoyinka made his way all the way back over and just showed excellent speed there and great pursuit. Way to just get off of his block from that side of the formation when he knew the play's not going that way, and obviously hurried that throw.
Yeah, I still shaking my head at that. Obviously, it didn't end up really mattering, but I'm just shaking my head at how absurd that false start penalty was. Not just that one play, but just the context of the whole thing for the Bucs. How ridiculous the penalty situation has been for them this season. We've talked about it a lot. They have dropped in league ranking penalties. Other teams have really churned them out over the last couple of weeks. It's been pretty crazy. It's been basically a kind of epidemic around the league right now.
Well, they've had a bye. Let's not forget that.
And that's right. And they've had the bye. Yeah. And I guess most teams have had the bye now. So it's sort of even, but still a good number of teams. How many teams need it? 6, 8? Am I off on that? Maybe I'm off on that. How many teams still need the bye?
I think the bye goes through week 14, right?
Okay, so there's still a few. Let's see.
No, that can't be right. 14's too late.
This week, two have the bye. 2 have the bye next week. 4 have the bye the week after that. And 4 after that. Week 14. You're right.
Okay.
So
okay,
yeah, so there's still 10 That's a lot. Okay. All right. The Bucs offense is back at it here.
We saw
They're
a couple
about to
of
be
man
back
coverage
at it,
snaps there, John, in that last drive, and hopefully we see more of that. They looked good doing it.
Yeah, Darden fielded that kick at the 1 yard line. He is not going to get very far. He's knocked out of bounds at the 15. That was, he had no choice there because that one was kicked to the 1 yard line. So great kickoff, but that was about as bad a blocking as you can possibly have on a kickoff return. Three guys were on him at the 10-yard line.
You're going to see that more often. Teams are going to make the Bucs return on kicks because honestly, this special teams unit just hasn't been a strong point for this team.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can do that. I mean, obviously that's definitely easier said than done in terms of getting kicks to the 1 yard line and not into the end zone, placing them like that. Last one they tried to kick off, it went only to the 10, but the Bucs didn't get a great return on it either, only to the 27. So here's Brady from his own 14-yard line, going to hand off. Leonard Fournette is going to go off the left side. He'll pick up 6 on first down. So a 2nd and 4 from the 20 for the Bucs offense.
Good to have Gronkowski back, already making his presence felt there with the play side block on that run. Good gain for 6 on first down.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see Bradbury on Mike Evans in this situation. It looks like those two are kind of matching up. I mean, Bradbury's dropping out into some zone coverage. Here's Brady over the middle of the field to Chris Godwin, a low throw. Godwin plucks it and has 7 yards and a first down. So 1st and 10 out to the 27-yard line for the Bucs.
Giants going into that too high shell again, making the Bucs stay patient. And where do you want to attack against that? Over the middle of the field, underneath. It's exactly what they're doing right there. Great job.
Right. 1st and 10 for the Bucs from their own 27-yard line. Brady from the shotgun, Fournette next to him. Giants bring extra pressure. He swings it out to Fournette. Fournette's going to get straight up the field, run through a tackle, and pick up 11 yards. Great play by Fournette. He'll have another first down out to the Bucs 37-yard line and some great blocks on the perimeter as well.
Defense didn't really have a chance. They rotate. Looks like they wanted to rotate into single high on that weak side. So kind of going the opposite way of the actual play. And then the Bucs receivers able to get downfield with excellent blocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, lots of quick passing game stuff so far in this one. Brady getting the ball out of his hand. Here's Fournette underneath once again, makes the catch, rolls forward, and he's going to have about 8-9 yards on the play. So 2nd and 2, 2nd and 1 coming up here for the Bucs offense, and they've got some options open to them in these down and distance situations, and it comes from throwing the ball on first down.
That's right. Yeah, great running situation here if they want it. And they pick up the first.
Here's Brady, handoff, and Fournette almost hitting the backfield. Now he's going to get through and get over the line of scrimmage, and he's going to pick up the first down. So he picks up 3 yards, and they're going to move the ball out to the 48-yard line of the Bucs, 1st and 10.
And look at this stat line. This looks like a Patriots start, right? With the up tempo, the quick underneath completions. This looks like you got Wes Welker and Amendola or Julian Edelman, out there instead of Mike Evans and Godwin. But great job by them to become more versatile receivers too when needed.
Yeah, for sure. And here's Brady from the gun. Takes a snap, no pressure over the middle. Rob Gronkowski makes the catch. So his presence is felt this time in the passing game. And it's a 6-yard gain. And 2nd and 4, they cross midfield and move into Giants territory to the New York 46-yard line.
Continuing to attack that middle of the field underneath. Again, you're going to play too high. This is where you're going to get a lot. And, again, these receivers, they're that good. They can do anything that you ask of them.
Right. Here's Brady on 2nd and 4 from the Giants 46-yard line.
Here it is again, John. Look at that soft too high shell.
Right. Ronald Jones is in the game, by the way.
Pistol formation.
Yeah, pistol formation. I've not seen the Bucs use that much this season. And they're going to hand off Ronald Jones. He's going to run over the right side, and he gets pulled down by the back of his helmet. Weird tackle. He's only going to pick up 2 yards. So the first 3rd down of the game is coming up here for the Bucs offense. 3rd and 2 from the Giants 44-yard line.
I'm sure some Madden nerds out there have noticed as well that the Bucs and Madden have a lot of plays out of pistol, but like you said, I've never seen them use it in the last 2 years. It might have been more of a thing under Winston, but interesting that they would go to it here.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely a curious call there on 2nd and 2 a little bit, but here they are on 3rd and 2. Brady is under center. They're going to hand off Ronald Jones. He plows straight ahead. Great push by the O-line, and Jones will pick up about 5. So he's got that first down with ease, and it's 1st and 10 at the Giants' 39-yard line. That should bring us, we'll see if they go fast here, that might bring us to the end of the first quarter here.
This is what it does when you win on first down, John. You get 2 easy opportunities, if maybe even 3, because realistically you should go for it on 4th down there. Right. And it just makes rest of your downs so much more manageable.
Right. Well, absolutely monster block by Ryan Jensen and Ali Marpat on that play. Jensen took the nose straight back, and Marpat came off the double team and just hammered the linebacker. Jones got right in behind him, and that is the end of the first quarter. And the Bucs offense rolling. That's their first third down of the game so far. So what have we said so often, Paul? Throw on first down. Even if you get 7 yards, it's more than what you're going to get on first down most of the time. It puts you in second and unpredictable. And everybody who's watching this game can see the impact that makes. That just the play sequencing. That's all that it is, Paul. But it's not the plays themselves. It's the sequencing that matters so much. I think it's one of the biggest things fans miss. They get mad at play callers. They get mad at certain players, but they get mad at Brady when on third and long, he can't find. But it's hard in those situations to find the routes that you want. It's easier when you're in these second and manageable situations and you're winning first down.
Yeah, exactly. And to clarify that point even more, we're not even talking about passing the ball more often. It's, again, like you said, sequencing. There's, we've said it before, but I'm sure not everyone tunes in every week, but the Bucs are one of the most run-heavy first down teams in the league. And then completely, I wouldn't be surprised if they're the most pass-heavy team in NFL history on second down. Right now, they're by far in the NFL this year. They're over 80% passing. Second place is the Chiefs at like 73% last time I checked. It might have changed a little bit after this weekend. But yeah, just a massive imbalance, massive discrepancy. So if you can shift that over by passing more often on first down, you'll be able to run more often on second down because you won't be in second and long so often, right?
Right. Yep. Absolutely. Great point. And another great points are made over on Spotify Green Room. If you get a chance, go ahead and go over to the App Store, get on Google Play, get yourself involved with Spotify Green Room, man. You can talk music, sports, culture, live. You can take the mic and give your opinion on these things over on Spotify Green Room. Download it on the App Store, get it on Google Play. You jump in, follow Pewter Report, by the way. Give us a heads up when you follow us. We'll make sure you get the notifications when we go live, when we talk shop on there as well. But Spotify Green Room doing some really cool things in the industry right now, and that's a great place to get connected with those topics that you like. So far, Bucs offense, we've talked about it a lot. They've gone to some play action. They've thrown on first down. They've been able to run on second down. Even when they've gone heavy personnel, they've been able to run and dictate their will, which shows they're winning some games up front as well, which is really important. Obviously, being able to dictate the pace up front along the offensive line is critical. And now they've got a 1st and 10 on their second drive of the game. As we start the second quarter, they've got a 1st and 10 from the Giants' 39-yard line.
And also, just to touch up on those runs, John, think about what actually happened on those. Gaining 2 yards, gaining 3 yards. Those are successful runs. Once, right? Like the expectation of what a good run is completely different in that situation than on first.
Absolutely. And here's Brady back to pass, looking underneath, got Fournette. Fournette falls down, then slips kind of through a tackle and falls forward. He's got 6 yards on that play. So 2nd and 4 from the Giants' 33-yard line now for the Bucs offense.
Yeah, great recovery there by Fournette. And by the way, when teams are going to play this soft shell coverage against you, you're going to have to gain yards in small chunks. So it becomes even more important to have a good first down because you're not going to get a big play opportunity as much as you would otherwise.
Right, here's Brady back to pass. Offensive line protection holds up, goes deep down the field to Evans. And that one's going to be out of bounds, incomplete. So I believe, is that the first incompletion of the game for Brady? Yeah, it was.
I think
10
so.
for 11 to start the game.
I think Brady might have been trying to throw this back shoulder. But
yeah, he was, because Bradbury didn't bite on the double move. It's very similar to the touchdown they scored against the Panthers in week 2 last year. Where they tried to hit the double move and it didn't work. Brady went back shoulder. Evans kind of slowed down enough to realize what Brady was doing. There, Brady does it. Evans doesn't realize it. But
Evans actually ended up winning on that go anyway.
He ended up, getting by Bradbury.
But it didn't look like he was going to, which made back shoulder the right decision there at the point of the throw.
Right. And I wonder if Bradbury kind of thought that he was going to go back shoulder. Here's Brady. He's going to step up, gets away from a tackler and picks up the first down on the ground down to the 21-yard line. And he's pumped up. A 10-yard run for Tom Brady. He tiptoed away from a tackler there and picked up the first down. What a play.
You think he's wanting to take back some of last week? You think he's fired up for this one? Clearly, he's ready to go. I mean, and this is just a whole new element for him this year, John. I mean, obviously he's not a mobile quarterback, but in terms of what he's been able to do, in terms of adding on to last year, the mobility is night and day this year, and he's taken advantage of it in tons of different ways, not exclusive to just the scrambles.
Right, for sure. And Tyler Johnson starts this one in the backfield, and he's going to motion out to the right. Brady, quick throw to Chris Godwin, who almost dropped it. Now he falls forward, and he picks up 6 yards. So 2nd and 4 from the Giants' 17-yard line coming up here as the clock winds under 13:30 to go in the second quarter.
I'll never get tired of pointing out Donovan Smith on these quick smoke routes and screen routes to the outside, just how fast he gets upfield. And, he was out of the screen by the time Godwin caught that pass. It's crazy.
Yeah, he was. He's moving, man. He is moving when he gets out there. 2nd and 4 coming up.
I'm really curious what their first down splits are, run pass. It seems like a lot of pass.
It does. Brady from empty from the shotgun, 3-man rush for the Giants. That one's knocked down at the line of scrimmage. So incompletion and 3rd and 4 is coming up for the Bucs offense. So all of a sudden in a couple third downs here now, converted the last 2, and 3rd and 4 from the Giants 17. This feels like a very important play early in the game.
Yeah, this is that famous Haas juke play there, John, where we talked about it a ton. The Patriots are famous for it. But this is kind of the part that I don't like. They have Bright back at that number 3 spot. I talked about this last week. It's much more effective when they put a receiver there like Godwin instead of a tight end to exploit that mismatch.
Right, here's Brady looking, fires one, caught by Mike Evans, and he gets down to the 9-yard line, and he's going to have the first down. So 1st and goal for the Bucs at the 9 or 10. We'll see where they spot it.
That was a nice little switch release, and it looked like a counter to kind of stick, or a lot of people call this 2-man version of stick Omaha, where you basically have 2 sideline routes or 2 quick out routes. One of them can sit, the inside one can sit. But there, instead of the outside one just going straight to the sideline, they had him on an out and up, trying to get that double move. So again, we're seeing another double move there. Obviously, that's not where the ball was thrown, but it's just an interesting wrinkle. I haven't seen them run that exact play before.
Yeah, for sure. That was definitely an interesting one, and you could see Bradbury on Evans there in man coverage. Giants do not run very much man coverage. Here's Brady back to pass, and he throws that one. I think it was tipped to the line of scrimmage too. Blitzer was coming in clean. Brady tried to get it out to Braid in the flat, but
that pressure got there. But I think he had Evans on the corner route. It looked like a Okie or high-low kind of corner combination, kind of like smash. It's hard to see because I can't see the safeties, obviously, but I think he might have had Evans there. Would be nice to see the end zone or wide angle, but pressure.
That one was right. Pressure just dictated that whole play there.
Yeah.
Taking a sack in these situations, especially when you got 1st and goal at the 10, it's just killer to take anything there. So here's Brady going to hand off to Leonard Fournette. Don't like that run, and he only picks up 3 yards. So 3rd and goal from the 7 coming up here. That's the first play call I've really been frustrated by there.
Yeah, because you're not looking necessarily to just gain 4 or 5 yards here, because
right. Getting closer doesn't do anything for you. In fact, it could make it harder.
That's exactly what I was going to get to, John. Great. The field is so compressed here. You're trying to just get it to the end zone. You want 2 shots to just get it in the end zone.
Right.
Really important to pass there, even more than a normal 2nd and long.
Yeah, for sure. That was just a waste of a play for really no good reason there. And now you're in 3rd and goal from the 7-yard line. And you got 3 receivers in the game. Tyler Johnson is out there. Giovanni Bernard in the backfield with Brady. Good protection. Brady has plenty of time. Looking, trying to find someone, throws, and now incomplete out the back of the end zone. Good coverage by the Giants. They dropped out 8. And again, what you said, the field gets compressed, right? In those situations, hard to find people in those situations. And so wasting that 2nd down play was pretty critical when it comes down to it.
Yeah, John, and that's exactly why they go ahead and rush it, is because they want to really compress that field. Like, where are you going to go? There's no one open here.
Yeah, you can see everybody's smothered. There's no chance for that play.
Yeah, so, I mean, even if you gain 5 yards on that previous play, you're not really doing anything for yourself.
Yeah, for sure. So Brady holds that one a while, but can't find anybody and ends up throwing it away. And so Suckup is out to attempt the 25-yard field goal, and he's going to be up and good. So the Bucs lead 10-3, and there's 11:16 left in the second quarter. So the Giants, after marching down the field and having to settle for a field goal, will get the ball back here to try and even this game up if they can. And mentioned it, that was the first time we saw the Bucs get into 3rd down. They got their first 4 third downs of the game on that drive, and they converted 3 of them. So they start 3 for 4 on 3rd down, but couldn't convert that one in the red zone. They enter the game, one of the best red zone offenses in the NFL still, even after some recent struggles. They're still 9th in the NFL red zone percentage. I say that, but I kind of laugh because they're 65% in the red zone, which every year we see red zone percentage just go up and up and up across the league for the most part. Last year, I think the Packers were like the best ever at like 71% and 65% for the Bucs. Now this year, that would have been like, I don't know, 3rd or 4th last year. This year it's 9th already. So we'll see how things shake out at the end of the season. But suffice to say, that's a very good percentage, even if it's 9th in the NFL. But yeah, 1 for 2 so far in this game.
It's interesting because I think scoring as a whole has come back down to earth after last season. Where
why less touchdowns outside of the red zone, less big plays down the field.
You're saying that's why the percentage is up this year in red zone?
Well, yeah, because more percentages up in red zone, but scoring isn't up still because almost all touchdowns are happening in the red zone,
right,
rather than outside of it, is what I'm saying. So
a lot of reasons for that too, which is pretty interesting. I mean, one part of it is the huge rise of these two high defenses, right? They're saying we're not going to let you just beat us deep. So if you're going to beat them, you're going to have to get into the red zone more often than you otherwise would. And I think another part of it is just the officiating. Last year, they kind of decided not to call holding all year. And they're kind of back to being a little more normal this year with that regard. And I think the offense had a big boost because of that. Plus, I think the lack of an offseason might hurt the defense more than an offense. But I'm not too sure about that.
I think you might be right about that. the way last season looked at times, you might be right about that. But I think it's a great point about offense in general, though, because it's funny what's happening in the league. You're right. Everybody's kind of, where are the deep balls? Where are the deep balls? They don't understand. The Bucs are still, even after not hitting money for the last couple weeks, they're still among the league leaders in explosive plays and deep balls and all of it, because it's around the league. It's how most teams are playing defense, that you're not being able to find those vertical routes quite as easily. Now, you could still pick teams apart underneath, but it takes more time. Defenses are saying, okay, we're just going to make you do it the hard way, right? You got to string together a bunch of good plays in order to beat us. Just, theoretically harder to do. Defense is hard enough to play in today's NFL. So that's how most teams are playing. They're saying, we're going to make you earn it play after play after play, even if those plays are a little bit easier than throwing one down the field.
And by the way, I know it's a bit of a sour ending there, but that was another really good drive as a whole for the Bucs. Great job being patient. Don't love to get in so many third downs, but I didn't really think it was because of bad process. Other than that very last
pass batted at the line of scrimmage, free blitzer coming in, forced an incompletion. Yeah,
I like the up tempo. You saw Brady throwing out all those hand signals, changing routes there. You can tell when it's like a hand signal for a route thing when he's actually looking to a receiver as opposed to some sort of protection thing. But giving him the keys to the offense. Say, go ahead, go up tempo. It's going to keep the defense in more vanilla coverages. Typically, it's not necessarily true, but that's typically the tendency. So then that lets Brady be like, okay, I know what I'm going to get. I know how to beat this. Let me not they can't change anything. Let's just keep it how it is.
Right. Okay, here's the Giants starting from their own 25-yard line. Down 10-3. Jones working for the shotgun, going to bring Engram in motion. Takes the snap. Blitzer coming for the Bucs. Throws it out quickly to Engram, who's chopped down by Murphy Bunting and Devin White after a gain of 3 yards. So 2nd and 7 for the Giants.
Kind of almost looked like a 3-safety shell, and then the Bucs bring in that corner blitz from the inside there. Jones throws it quick, throws it hot to the opposite side. Great job collapsing in and only giving up 3. That's the ideal way that this soft coverage works. If you're wondering what are we trying to accomplish with it, that's what you're trying to accomplish. It's just easier said than done.
Yeah, for sure. And good to see SMB kind of flying around in there. And Jones has lots of time here and goes down underneath to Barkley, who makes the catch, kind of dances around a little bit, doesn't really get anything after the catch. Look like he had some space. It's going to be 3rd and 2, though, anyway. 5-yard catch for Barkley.
And by the way, there's a difference between how the Bucs are kind of playing a patient coverage compared to how the rest of the league is trending towards. They're not the same thing. The Bucs are actually doing it pretty differently with these cover 2. I'll talk about it a little more after this play.
Okay. 3rd and 2 for the Giants. Jones working from the shotgun here. Takes the snap, back to pass, 3-man rush, but Ndamukong Suh breaks through and plants Jones, and he has to throw it away. So Ndamukong Suh breaks through, great pressure on just a 3-man rush, and it's 4th and 2, and the Giants are going to have to punt from their own 33.
I mean, honestly, I don't think it's hyperbole to say that's a potentially game-changing play. 3rd and 2, you expect to convert that as an offense, and to get a sack or a pressure with a 3-man rush and completely end the drive, huge play, amazing rush there by Ndamukong Suh.
Right. Suh just tossed Will Hernandez aside with that hump move there. Raheem Nunez-Roches, by the way, dropped into coverage on that play. So whenever you see the 3-man rush, you know that's one of those D tackles dropped out usually. And so Suh be able to win, though, in that situation. Great play by him, especially given the fact that Vita Vea is out. So they really need him to step up. Jalen Darden's could have fielded that one, didn't, and it doesn't matter. It's not going to go anywhere. Giants catch it, but a great punt, 52-yard punt Bucs are going to start again from their own 15-yard line. Second drive in a row, will they start from their own 15? So they've done a great job being patient, picking apart underneath. They tried one ball down the field, a little miscommunication between Brady and Evans. I think they can hit him, though, if they get those ISOs with Ian Bradbury. I think he can win those matchups. I bet they go back to it at some point. How quickly will they go back to it? We'll see. But they're having a lot of success underneath, force the Giants to adjust, then start to try and stretch the field.
Yeah, if there was one kind of concern that I've had so far this season with the particular way that they're beating too high coverages is that they can become a bit more expansive with their attack, right? They can be more creative with how they're looking for explosives and not be so content with going to handoffs, quick screens, or dump offs. They can start trying to attack that middle of the field, or against cover 2 zone. They can try attacking that whole shot on the sideline there. But a lot of that attacking over the middle is going to come off of play action. So, you can't just give up on explosive plays just because they're playing too high and being content with screens and dump offs. You have to, I would like to see them go for those chunks, just do it differently. Whereas against those single high defenses, when you're talking about big plays, you're looking for 30, 40, 50 plays. But against too high, maybe you can look for more 20 to 30-yard plays over the middle.
Yeah, for sure. It'd be nice to have more of those. They start off the year. I mean, that was such a strength of the team, right? They were hitting, 20 plus air yard throws, but they were hitting so many in the 15 to 20 yard range, right? In like middle of the fields, those kind of routes. And so, that's a big one. But Ali Marpat, by the way, out for the game. That's a big one.
Oh, I missed
Scott
that.
said strained oblique. Did not see that at all either. That is a huge loss for the Bucs, and we'll see how they counter. This should be, I would guess, Aaron Stinney coming in here, but that's the first offensive line injury they've had this season of any. I mean, Donovan Smith, I think, missed a snap, but that's a big one because Leonard Williams is playing right there, so that's a huge one.
Yeah, huge loss. I mean, just one of the most consistent players on offense. Right. It's a talking point when he has a bad game, right? He really jumps out at you.
I mean, when he missed the Saints game last year, it was just, I mean, Joe Haeg was horrible, but it was pretty big L. Actually, it's funny, Aaron Stinney coming into this game, like, he was not even their second choice last year. They had an injury and to Ali Marpat, and first it was Joe Haeg. Then they quickly realized he wasn't the answer. And then they went right away to IQ Shipley, and then Shipley got hurt, and they went to the Ted Larson, and he was bad against Washington. He gave up like 2 sacks. So Stinney was like the last resort, and Mike Evans drops that one into the hands of a Giants DB for an interception. Unbelievable, egregious drop by Mike Evans, and the Giants are right down there, right outside the end zone once again. So this is just exactly what we see every week with this Bucs team.
Yeah, but and again, going back to those smoke routes, and nothing to do with the drop, but I just wish they weren't so reliant on. And by the way, one other thing there that was kind of interesting, they're in 12 personnel, meaning 2 tight ends, and Gronk wasn't one of those. Gronk was on the bench on a 2 tight end set, which is not something you expect to see very often at all.
It's just incredible. Like, this team's MO to do this to themselves is absolutely remarkable. Like, they just create ways to let other teams win games and stay in games, and it's unbelievable, man. I mean, I know Mike Evans is kicking himself for that too, but that's your captain, man. You can't make those kind of mistakes. It's just egregious stuff. And so here's Jones from the shotgun, from the 5-yard line here of the Bucs. A gift situation for the Giants offense, to be sure, here on 1st and goal. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka and Anthony Nelson, by the way, in the game, and Nelson gets faked out pretty badly there, but Devin White makes the stop on Daniel Jones after a gain of 3. So 2nd and 2 coming up for the Giants offense from inside the 5. Yeah,
and I think that's the 8th interception on Brady.
And 5 are not Brady's fault.
Yeah, I think he has 5 turnover-worthy plays per PFF.
All season,
yeah. So
he's least turnover worthy. I think he's least or second least in the NFL amongst all quarterbacks in turnover worthy throws this year. So here's Jones rolling out. Levante David pressure. He throws to the end zone wide open, catching it as an offensive lineman, Andrew Thomas. So must have been offensive line eligible play, and the Giants have a touchdown there. Jones was under duress, but Thomas was wide open. Still made a good catch because Jones threw it too high for him, and the Giants get a gift touchdown, and they're an extra point away from tying this game at 10.
Yeah, just absurd situation, John. I mean, the Bucs have clearly played much better, than the Giants so far. And we could be looking at, by the end of that would-be drive, could have been looking at 17-3 instead 10-10. So now this is where they can't just fall apart here, right? I mean, we've seen, kind of felt like in that Washington game, a couple of things went wrong in the beginning, and they kind of just weren't able to get it together till the second half offensively, and then they barely had the ball. So you'd hope to see them come out still being sharp, not losing that focus, and kind of not going into that here we go again kind of mentality.
Yeah. It's just unbelievable because like these aren't all the same errors. People like, oh, coaching needs to fix this undisciplined team. I mean, like no amount of coaching is going to make one of the best receivers in the league catch that ball instead of dropping it the way he dropped it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You could call what you want, but like they run that play 100 times. That result isn't happening like 99 times or, more, 1,000 times. Like it's a lot of it just is luck. They just have not had a lot of things bounce their way this season. Like if that's just a drop, we're shaking our heads, whatever. But like that's the third drop turned interception this year, and they've all happened deep in the Bucs' own territory. That just doesn't happen to other teams. Like and I'm not like saying it's the Bucs curse or anything like that. I'm just saying that's why a lot of these things have happened. It's just luck. I know people hate talk about the luck factor when it comes to sports, and you hate it because you want to blame somebody, you want to be mad at somebody. And obviously Evan can't drop that ball, but the fact that it's an interception and that's the result of it, and it's a game swinging play, that part of it's just luck, man. Like it's just bad luck, and the penalties, drops, turnovers, the Bucs have been on the wrong end of it all year.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. And I know it's frustrating. I feel like variance is such an under talked about aspect just of sports or anything in general. And that's exactly what it is, right? With the penalties, they've had some negative variance. With these turnovers, they've had some negative variance. And, on the other end of it, we got acknowledged last season, they had some pretty positive variance as far as injuries goes. They were one of the healthiest teams in the league. Obviously, even though key guys did miss some games. But yeah, a lot of it is just stuff that you can't really control. And I think you're right. How much can you coach a receiver to not drop a ball, right? Like what can you do there? It's not like Mike Evans doesn't know how to catch a ball there. It's just sometimes you just get an unlucky bounce. And unfortunately, the Bucs have been on the wrong side of those bounces a lot so far this season.
I think that's Mike Evans' third drop of the season, by the way. I know somebody said he drops a lot of passes. He did last year. He had too many drops last year. I wouldn't say a lot. He wasn't like a Deontay Johnson for the Steelers, like problem or something like that. But he had too many drops last year. This year, it's been way down. His drop percentage is actually terrific. It's not very high at all. But obviously, a super costly one there, and it's frustrating. And I know people are going to be mad at Evans for it, but it is what it is. Got to come back and make a play. It's all about how you respond offensively, to be honest. That stuff's going to happen. Unlucky stuff's going to happen to a degree. But it has happened to this team a lot this season, and it'd be pretty incredible if things could just reverse a little bit for them, and they might get a bounce or two because they've probably dropped more interceptions this year than Brady's had turnover-worthy throws. And the fact that the numbers are where they're at, it's kind of like the Mahomes situation. Like, although he had more turnover-worthy throws and dumb throws than Brady's had, like he still was getting some ridiculous interceptions counted against him, and that's. Obviously it's come back around for the Chiefs in recent weeks, but the Bucs are kind of going through it right now with some of these throws that are just fine that are ending in turnovers, man. Fine throws by your quarterback, especially short, should never be those types of situations. Keyshawn Vaughn's going to take this kickoff return, by the way, and he brings it to the 29-yard line. So the Bucs offense will have pretty decent field position to start their fourth drive of the game. Touchdown, field goal, interception off the Evans drop. That's how the three drives have gone so far. For the Bucs, it's a 10-10 game, and there's 9:14 left in the second quarter. This is a very, very important drive in this game. The Bucs need to respond and not let the mistakes and the disappointing play pile up.
Yeah, I got to get down there, get a touchdown, just really establish the dominance again, for lack of a better term.
Right, and Ronald Jones is going to get it on the first play, and he's going to twist forward for 3 or 4 yards. So 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6 coming up here. And so, not the guy not the play I'd go to right off the turnover.
No, probably not. My stream kind of fell a few seconds behind again here.
Okay. Ali Marpat with that strained quad. You can see him there going to the locker room. And so we'll see what the Bucs offense can conjure up here on 2nd and 7. Brady takes the snap. Good protection throws. Catch by Rob Gronkowski. But very short gain on the play. It's going to be 4-yard gain. And so 3rd and 3 coming up here. And the Bucs seem pretty determined to attack underneath right now. And another 3rd down coming up here. And obviously this one's an important one. They stayed out of 3rd down for a while there. They go with the 1st down run. They don't get much. You end up in the 2nd and long pass obvious situation. Now you're in an important 3rd down at your own 36. Need to make this play.
and losing first down, right, John? I mean, gaining 3 is putting yourself behind where you need to be. You really want to gain at least 5 or 6, and that's a rare outcome with a run.
Right. Here's Brady from the gun, back to pass, 4-man rush, protection's tremendous. Great job by Aaron Stinnie. Brady has plenty of time, throws down the field. Rob Gronkowski is open. He makes the catch, and he falls forward to the 29-yard line of the Giants. Big pass play down the field there. Looked like, was Brady hit as he threw that one? And finally, pressure got through and may have impacted that throw a little bit. It looked like it sailed kind of, but was right on the money in terms of accuracy.
Always scary to see a late throw over the middle. I mean, that when you just see that coming out of the quarterback's hands at that point, you're thinking interception, but finding Gronkowski late in the progression there on some sort of deep over or crosser, and defense just not able to hold up when the protection's that good for that long. And so far, whoever's come in there for Marpat seems to be doing just fine.
Yeah, Aaron Stinnie did a good job there on that play at least, and so we'll see what they got cooking here as Brady goes play action from the Giants 29, looking down the field, steps up in the pocket, finds Evans over the middle of the field for a gain of 7, so 2nd and 3 coming up for the Bucs offense from the Giants 22-yard line.
And that's what you would call a mediocre pass play, but setting you up well for 2nd down. So it's just in terms of the percentile outcome that you need from a pass is just so much lower than the percentile outcome you need from a run.
Yeah, that wasn't what they were looking for. It looked like he was looking for something down the field. I guess it just wasn't there maybe. But 2nd and 3, now you're in that situation. Exactly what we talked about, right? You can win, and good job by Gronkowski as he goes in motion, making sure Tyler Johnson backs off the line of scrimmage so they don't get called for illegal formation. And Ronald Jones rushes up the left side, and he's going to have the 1st down. So he gets 4 yards on 2nd and 3, and it's 1st and 10 from the Giants 18-yard line. And now you're in that situation. If you're the Bucs, all of a sudden the plays become amplified, the field shrinks, and you got to start executing. If you come away with a field goal here after this drive, after the turnover of the Giants, it's not going to feel like the Giants are going to be emboldened still, is it not, that they failed you twice inside the red zone now. So these plays become really important. Brady, play action, throws over the middle of the field. Pass was caught by Gronkowski at the 1st down marker, then dropped.
There's no way that's a fumble. Yeah.
No. That was, I think that may have been knocked out of his hands by Julian Love, but he was open over the middle of the field. Brady hit him right between the numbers. Julian Love punched it right out of his hands. Gronk couldn't secure it there. And
was that another trap pass? I think it.
Yeah, it might have been. I didn't even look, but yeah. So a big drop there brings up 2nd and 10 now. Brady from the shotgun. Gronk's out of the game now. And Brashad Perryman is in the game. Here's Brady throwing to the right side. Got Cam Brate for the 1st down to the Giants 6-yard line. So it'll be 1st and goal on the 12-yard throw from Brady. And Cam Brate getting a little involved here. I like to see it. 2 big catches from Cam Brate in the red area.
You got that levels kind of concept there, trying to beat this cover 2 zone. Just a lot of space there and high-lowing that corner. That route from the outside, I think that was Tyler Johnson, pushes that corner up, and then you get Brate to just replace him right there. So that corner is going to come back down just because he has that cloud responsibility, but you're able to push him up the field first. And then just as he's about to start coming back down, Brate is already there. So
right. Such a good throw by Brady, too, throwing with that anticipation and throwing it inside a little bit. Here's Ronald Jones off the left side, going to get a good block, and he gets into the end zone. Touchdown. Great run by Ronald Jones around the left side, his 2nd touchdown of the season, and what an answer for the Bucs offensively. Brady hit some big throws on that drive, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the exact drive you needed to come back with after that mistake on the previous one. Championship level drive. This is that dominant offense that this Bucs team should be game in and game out. You make a mistake and you should be able to come back and score a touchdown because that's how good they are. That's how good they need to be always.
Right, absolutely. And as some people pointed out there, nice block by Kappa, a little pulling guard near the goal line. Love to see it. And Kappa did a great job. He got the initial pop on the block, but then didn't grab and hold the corner, so he would draw a penalty there. So that was a great job by him, kind of just being aware with his technique and making a great play. And now it is 17-10, and the Bucs are up, and the offense is rolling, but there's 5:06 left in the 2nd quarter. And this is what we call the crunch time of the game, right, Paul? Because this gets into those situations where if you can get a stop defensively, get the ball back for your offense, obviously you're in a good spot. But if the Giants go down and score, Bucs got the ball to start this game. So Giants are going to get the ball to start the second half. The Bucs have gotten hit on this a few times because their defense has struggled in these situations. Got to be able to rise up in this spot, I think, make a play, and then flip it the other way. This in the second half, if you can get more points on the board, great. Then the second half starts, got to be able to make those stops too. You're getting into that situation when you start with the ball on offense that makes the end of these halves, the first half, very, very critical for your defense.
Yeah, because I think they'll have time here to get that stop and get the ball back, right? I mean, I'm not sure exactly how much is left here in the second quarter. I think, was it 6.5 minutes, something like that?
I think it's 5.
5? Okay.
A little over 5, yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Like, yeah, it was the Bucs that started the game with the drive, and they came out and took care of business on that opening drive. So,
yeah, for sure.
Too much more.
Right. Well, it's been a pretty good start for the Bucs offense. A lot of it has been the quick game, but Brady's 16 to 22. There's 2 drops in there. Obviously, one of those results in an interception, 157 yards and a touchdown in this one. Ronald Jones has carried 5 times for 20 yards and Fournette 4 times for 19 yards. So both those guys have been productive. Godwin has a 7-yard run, Evans has a 10-yard run, and Brady has a 10-yard run. So those Brady and Evans have the longest runs of the night. You could have won a lot of money if you bet on that ball. Brady and Evans having the longest rushes of the night for the Bucs offense.
I would have bet on Brady having the highest EPA rushing, not the total rushing yardage.
There you go. Gronkowski, 3 catches, 45 yards, by the way. Chris Godwin, 4 catches, 34 yards. Brate, 2 for 27. Fournette, 4 for 27. Evans, 2 for 14. And O.J. Howard, 1 for 10 on the first play of the game. So they're spreading the ball around, but Tyler Johnson still hasn't touched it offensively. He has 1 target in this game, I believe, but that's it on the throwaway, really out the back of the end zone. I think was his only target. And meanwhile, defensively, Sean Murphy-Bunting's got 4 tackles. He leads the team on that side. So he is throwing himself around out there. We haven't got to see a ton of the Bucs defense. They did get that 3 and out, but then obviously in a tough spot on their own goal line there, and the Giants hit the throwback pass to the eligible tackle that you didn't see coming.
Yeah, I mean, overall, pretty good game for the defense so far, right? It was that opening drive, Giants moved the ball, but held them to a field goal. That touchdown drive, not their fault at all. And then there was a drive in between there that Sue shut down with that big third down pressure.
Yep. So we just haven't seen quite enough to measure much, but 5:06 left in the first half, and the kickoff's going to go out the back of the end zone. So Giants going to take over from their own 25-yard line here. And what do you think? Do you think they're get aggressive right away? Of not much going in the run game right now for the Giants, so they have plenty of time, and there's no reason to get away from the run game except for the fact that the Bucs are so good at defending it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's no reason for them to deviate from their game plan, whatever that is right now. I mean, if I were them, I would continue trying to attack the flats, though right now, defensively, the Bucs are showing man.
Here they go. Handoff. John Ross on an end around. Sean Murphy-Bunting's got outside contained, but nobody is fitting inside of him, so Ross is going to have a healthy gain. He gets out to the Giants' 41-yard line, 16-yard gain for John Ross there in that situation, and the Giants' offense is off and rolling.
I know it looks weird with me looking over here, but I'm starting to just watch my TV because my internet streams are just so far behind now. My TV is in sync with you, though.
Okay, I was going to say, sorry about that.
Oh, no, it's not your fault.
The streams must be falling behind because I haven't touched this one. But
no, mine lagged a couple times and fell behind.
Here's Kadarius Toney looking to throw the football. He's going down the field, deep down the field, and a flag is going to come in. How in the world is Sean Murphy-Bunting committing pass interference there? I mean, this is absurd. You have to have some semblance of technique, buddy. Like, this is not even close to being a completion. I mean, maybe they'll say that it wasn't even, but dude, he's just falling all over the receiver.
There's hardly any deception on that either, right? They line up in Wildcat, and then it's just like a rollout throw. There's no trickery. I mean, that's inexcusable.
I just like, and maybe the wide receiver's holding his arm there now that you see that replay angle. Yeah, I think they're going to pick this one up. Actually, yeah, it's Slayton that's holding his arm. It did not look like it live.
Chat's telling us that they picked up the flag.
Yeah. I think that's a good call because it's Slayton holding Murphy-Bunting's arm, and I apologize to him because I definitely thought it looked like he was the one holding the receiver for no reason, but that was actually the other way around. I wonder if the officials peeped the scoreboard to make that one right, because live it definitely looked like pass interference. And here's a quick throw to Toney, and Whitehead misses the tackle on the flat. They chase him around. Toney gets out of a couple tackles, should have been tackled at the line of scrimmage. He's going to get 5 yards instead out to the Giants' 46-yard line. and now it's 3rd and 5 for the Giants offense.
Yeah, the Bucs are kind of back in their soft cover 3 zone there, but Whitehead initially did a great job of getting there from the opposite side of the formation to try to get that tackle at the line of scrimmage, but just not able to finish the play. And now they're in a much more manageable 3rd down. That was going to be a great play for the defense.
Yeah, if Jordan Whitehead, who's normally one of their best tacklers, has just been a really bad tackler the last month or so. He's missed so many tackles.
2-man here. This is not a coverage they ever play, but this is what they're showing pre-snap.
We'll see if they stick with it here. And Devin White's out here outside at outside corner, and flags fly.
Oh my God.
And they're you cannot tell me they gave them this. Is this a false start or is this
timeout? Okay.
Giants called timeout, right?
Oh, he jumped because the play clock went to 0 anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
So
they're saying it's timeout first. Lamonte David's telling him, if you ever jump upside again to Jason Pierre-Paul.
But man, what do I got to do to get the Bucs to play 2-man? They're about to do it, and we get a
that's
timeout.
right.
Come on.
Are they the bottom of the league in 2-man percentage? Do we know?
They've got to be. They're way below league average. I know that much. I don't know exactly in raw numbers where they are.
Yeah, they're near for sure.
But yeah, they never use that. When they play man, John, I talked about this last week. They tend to play single high safety, and they don't like using that hole player or robber either. So they don't have any intermediate middle help. They have deep help over the middle, but everything else is one-on-one, and they're sending 5. So if you want a quick slant like Washington did last week, you're going to be able to find success with it. But I'd like to see them play a little just man coverages with 4-man rushes is what I really want to see them do more often.
Huge play, 3rd and 5 from near midfield for the Giants offense. Can the Bucs defense get it back to their offense? Bucs lining up, loading the right side. Blitz is coming, but it's late. Jones throws it out in the flat, and it's somehow caught. He lobbed it to Kadarius Toney, or did he caught it, right? What? He did catch it. How did Murphy Bunting miss that ball? Did he catch this?
I thought
like they were marking it that he caught it. Or was it Winfield that missed this ball? Winfield.
It was Winfield. Oh, he knocked it out. That's not a catch.
I don't think he caught that.
That's absolutely not.
How are they calling that a catch?
But we'll get a challenge here for sure. There's no way he caught
Winfield
that. Winfield
recovered, knocked it out. That was pretty rough looking coverage from Winfield and man coverage there. He rips that ball out. I don't know how that could be a catch.
Pick your poison though, right? And I mean, not the best man coverage, but better than, looks better than what they've been doing in zone.
Yeah, that's true. And that's the hard part for Todd Bowles. I've given him a lot of, I don't know how in the world. Who knows in today's NFL, but how is that? That can't be a catch, right?
No way. I'm sure they'll pick this one.
How did they call that a catch on the field?
Yeah, I don't know how
I was so confused because I'm calling it and I thought he dropped it, but then I'm seeing them mark it as a catch and I'm like, what in the world?
I thought Winfield might have broken it up beforehand, or I thought Daniel Jones just missed it to the sideline, but I never thought that was a catch. I mean, I'm with you. I don't know how you call it a catch in the first place, even though I'm sure they'll pick it up or call it back or whatever. But
who knows? I'm not sure how that could be a catch there. Winfield made a great play to recover, but
as always, Chad, we appreciate you keeping us, up to tune with what's happening. We don't have any audio, so we don't know what the commentators are saying, and we miss some things sometimes. Logan Merrick saying, "Paul, don't be too sure these officials anymore are awful." Yeah, I mean, no comment.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's hard. I don't know. I don't know I know what the rules say, but there's so much room for interpretation that because it was called a catch on the field, which floors me, that's the only way I think they could, but it's just not a catch.
Brian playing the pessimist role here. He thinks it's going to be a catch.
Yeah. And it is going to be overturned. I see the people on Twitter saying the play is overruled. It's incomplete. Good challenge by the Bucs, and they're going to have to punt. So great play by Winfield, even though it was a little bit rough in the man coverage. Again, I hate when you come out of your break, when the receiver comes out of the break and you anticipated the break. He anticipated the break, but he's already trying to reach. It's run through the catch, get your head around and run through the catch. But
I would like another look at it. I'm not actually 100% sure it was man. They showed that man look pre-snap, but post-snap, it looked a little different. It might have just been their switch rules, because with that stack look, it might have just been Winfield and whoever else was on his side. They're playing man, but it's just you got inside guy, I got outside guy, whoever goes where. But it looked a little bit funky.
Well, here's the other thing. Why that play is so big, obviously, gets the ball back to the offense. What they've got 3.5 minutes here to do something with it. 3 timeouts, so plenty of time here. Be aggressive, go for it. I say you could score a touchdown before the half. Obviously, it changes the whole ball game. Brian, for his pessimism with the $20 super chat. Brian, greatly appreciate that $20 super chat. I'm glad that Winfield was able to make that play and overturn it. But obviously, a huge play for Winfield too. Not a lot of plays on the ball on these underneath throws by players this season, and so for the Bucs defense. So really big and important play by Winfield, though. And now it's 4th and 5 from the 46. And so the Giants are lining up to punt for sure. And I'm not saying that they're not going to punt, but I'm just saying that this would be a situation where analytics might be like, right? Am I right about that? 4th and 6 from the 40, 4th and 5 from the 46. Giants are punting it anyway.
It's probably really close.
And Darden's going to make the fair catch at the 15. So another Bucs drive starts from the 15. They have been all over the place on these drives starting from the 15. One ended in a field goal and one ended in a horrible drop interception. So,
I mean, I think that's been the only drive they haven't scored, right? So the one with the drop.
You are correct. Yes.
Yeah. So
2 touchdowns. I mean,
overall, that I always, it's like that mistake aside, and that's a huge aside. It's been a really good day for the offense. Even on that field goal drive, they looked good. They moved the ball. I mean, to put up, that's what you want to see against a coverage like this. The ability to consistently move the ball, and
no
they're not
penalties.
That's right. That's the other thing. If you take one holding call against this type of coverage, you're way behind.
Right. Becomes very, very important here, especially with the backup offensive lineman in there. And they're going to pull Stinney here and run on first down, and there's going to be hardly anything there. 2 yards maybe for Fournette. So 2nd and 8 coming up. And again, you're getting the predictable first down calls, and you're ending up in pretty predictable second down situations.
Yeah, getting away from what was working early in the game. I don't really get it.
Confusing. It feels like that has been kind of the thing all season, though. Like, even if it works early in the game, it doesn't matter. They end up going back to this approach. And if they don't start the game with it, then they might never get to it. So, right. I don't know. It's frustrating stuff for
sure. It's been the same thing with play action.
Right. So here's Brady from the shotgun, takes the snap, back to pass, 4-man rush, finds Mike Evans, who breaks the tackle and gets up the field, has the first down, and keeps going down the sideline. Where did he step out? We'll see. Looks like they're going to mark it.
Looks like the 42, 43.
Yeah, yak from Mike Evans. I see it in the chat. Loving it. James Bradbury breaks this tackle, gets up the sideline. Looks like, where are they going to spot this?
And I want to say, John, that was 2-man.
Oh, he stepped out there. So I think he stepped out at the 33, it looks like.
I want to say that was 2-man there by the Giants. So just 2 safeties deep and man everything underneath. And Bucs will be able to take whatever they want underneath with these receivers.
Yeah. So 16-yard gain to Evans. Brady throws quickly out in the flat to Gronkowski, who's chopped down after a gain of just 3. So trying to get the ball to the flat there quickly to Gronk, but Giants are coming up making those stops right now. So 2nd and 7 for the Bucs offense from their own 36-yard line.
I'm not exactly sure what that was. It's some sort of too high coverage. I couldn't tell if that one was back to man. I think that was a zone. But yeah, I'm looking for the Bucs to attack the middle of the field on this drive. If the Giants keep playing this way, I think the quick underneath stuff is what you're going to see them go for.
Yeah, for sure. And people are asking about the score. Bucs are up 17-10. It's the 2-minute warning now. Bucs are up 17-10 on the Giants here. 2-minute warning in the first half. Bucs driving 2nd and 7 on their own 36-yard line. Try to keep you updated with the score as often as I can. I'll put it up here on the banner as much as I can. But
I saw it the same way as Chase here. I thought Godwin was open over the middle there on that previous play, but it's always hard to know exactly what the progression is, right? I mean, we got to see it with the all 22, and sometimes it's just, hey, Gronk was first in that progression, and you're not going to pass up an open guy just to get it to someone who's more open later in the progression. But I don't mind the checkdowns generally. Again, against these defenses, like, it's kind of what you have to do. You just have to be, when the few opportunities are there over the intermediate middle, you have to be able to attack, and then you also got to be able to get yards after catch and stay. You got to be able to stay on schedule on first down. Those are kind of the keys to being able to beat this type of coverage, and not to mention play action. That's kind of a lost cause.
Yeah, and you're going to have some 3-yard completions. That's obviously been not the norm for the Bucs tonight. Brady's averaging 7.3 yards per pass, I believe. So, going to have some of those, especially against these defenses.
7.3 yards per pass attempt is pretty solid against this defense. It's kind of what you would expect. They've done a really good job in terms of not giving up many air yards or anything like that. They have been a pretty conservative defense all season. It's not just against the Bucs. They've tried to keep everything in front of them and force you to throw short. So similar to you brought this up earlier today, John, that it's a similar defensive approach to Washington. So, if you see a lot of checkdowns, don't look at it as like a point of frustration or something that you think that this is what this offense is now. It's they're just being smart and kind of trying to take what the defense is giving them.
Right. I mean, they're still taking shots. They just can't take them 10 times a game like they were, or 7 or 8 times a game. I think they were early in the season, somewhere in the 6 to 8 range. Now they're taking them like 3 times a game. And that's just what you have to do based on the coverage. John asked, are the Bucs using the game plan from the Eagles game? I mean, they're just using the game plan that they've had to use recently. But yeah, a lot of it's similar to that. I mean, teams are kind of playing them the same way. And so it's kind of what you have to do. You have to be efficient at it. And it helps to throw on early downs, especially if you're not going to get these huge chunk plays down the field, obviously. So,
and we have had some crossing routes over the middle, Tyler. We've seen that already.
Here's the Bucs out of the 2-minute warning, operating from their own 36-yard line. Brady's in the shotgun, takes the snap. Giants are trying to send pressure, but it's picked up. Stinney runs Leonard Williams around, and Brady finds Chris Godwin down to the 49-yard line. He gets hit hard, but he holds on to the ball. And it's going to be 1st and 10 for the Bucs at their own 49.
Great play all around, sending that. They actually only send 4, but it's a simulated pressure sort of thing where someone else came in that didn't look like they were going to, and Brady's stepping up in that pocket.
And Brady throws to Gronkowski, who fights off a tackler and gets down close to the first down marker. Did he stop the clock too? What a fight by Gronkowski. Carried a guy for the 9-yard gain. And it's going to be 2nd and 1, I believe. And did he get out of? I think he got out of bounds there.
I think he did. And I couldn't see the number 1 receiver there, but I'm pretty sure that was a post wheel combination with the number 3 Gronkowski with that out route. They run that a lot. It's a good combination, successful there.
Yeah. So 2nd and 1, and Fournette's going to get the ball. He's going to rumble forward for about 7 yards. He looked like he was tiptoeing there from the line of scrimmage, but he somehow gets 7 yards out of it. And so they're down to the Giants' 35-yard line and a 1st and 10. Clock winds, or actually is stopped, I'm sorry, at now a minute 21.
Yeah, Bucs using their first time out.
Yeah, first time out of the game.
Yeah, again, that's what winning first down does, right, John? It feels like we've seen way more 2nd and shorts here today so far already than we normally do in this game. And that's setting up those good running situations. You don't need to gain 5 yards for it to be a good run. Suddenly you only need 1 or 2 yards. And it your yards per attempt isn't as nearly as important as, say, like your EPA, right? Like, which is just in terms of how EPA just tells you what is that play actually doing? Is it a 7-yard gain on 3rd and 10, or is it a 7-yard gain on 1st and 10, right? Like, how good is that play actually? I mean, you run.
Here's Brady from the shotgun from the Giants' 35-yard line. 3 receivers on the field. Cam Brate, the tight end, takes the snap. Pressure coming around his left end. He throws down the field. That one's off Brate's chest. Incomplete. That was down the middle of the field. Would have been a big gain, and Brate dropped it. I think.
Just glad it's not another interception.
Yeah, right into Brate's hand. It bounced up in the air. Godwin almost caught it on the deflection, but that is an unbelievable throw by Brady.
That was a great throw.
What a throw. And Julian Love did get himself in there. I don't think he definitely bothered Brate, but you got to catch that ball.
There's no excuse.
Yeah, Brate, man, is in a struggle. I thought he was coming around with some early catches in this one, but no such luck.
I want to see the wide angle. Here's what the route combination is.
And 2nd and 10 now from the 35. Brady back to pass. Some pressure coming. He steps up. He's throwing deep down the field. Got Rashad Perryman down there, and he drops it in the end zone.
Oh, my God.
Off both Perryman's hands on a dime from Tom Brady down the field, and that's a touchdown off the board. Perryman beat James Bradbury.
Oh, perfect throw.
Goodness. What a great throw.
And just the step up in the pocket. I mean,
oh my goodness. And that's where if you're Scotty Miller, man, you're like, why wasn't I active for this game? Right. And now all of a sudden a really important 3rd and 10 because they're not in field goal range yet, really. This is Giants' 35-yard line. So they've got to get something here. And Brady's back to pass. Here comes pressure. Steps up in the pocket. Over the middle, got Chris Godwin and got the first down. Godwin running, breaks a tackle. Stiff arm, 5, lunges for the goal line. He's down at the 1 yard
No
line.
way, he got in, but there's a flag down. It looked like he got in.
I thought he got in as well. Where's this flag at? Is it on the offense? Oh my gosh, this team,
I wonder if it's a face
unbelievable.
mask.
Holding on Tristan Wirfs.
Oh.
Their ability to beat themselves is unbelievable. Let's see if this is a... What? This is a horrible call. Oh my goodness, a brutal call.
That's 3 great plays by Brady in a row taken off the board, really.
What a brutal call. Not holding at all. And Arians is losing it.
I mean,
that is a touchdown off the board again for the Bucs. The luck to see. Now it's 3rd and 20, and they're not even close to field goal range right now. Brady steps in the pocket, hit as he throws, an incomplete to Tyler Johnson. And so it is going to be punt time for the Bucs offense. Brady is fuming at the officials too, but that is a brutal call. That's a game-changing call.
That was another good throw. I mean, against tight coverage.
Sheesh. I cannot believe that call. That is an elite pass protection play by Tristan Wirfs. He tries to spin inside. Wirfs slams him, throws him down. That is never is that called holding. That's a touchdown off the board because of that call. It's just continues. It continues for the officiating, man. Like, that is so frustrating.
Not a whole lot to say. I mean,
Arians is going to be... there. I mean, this is over and over and over every single game for the Bucs.
That's just such a waste of, that's very high level quarterbacking there for 3 or 4 plays in a row. I mean, more that whole drive, really. I mean, it's a shame to not be able to come away with a touchdown. Good Lord. I mean,
what a disastrous call. That's so frustrating. Bucs take the 5-yard penalty to back Pinion up. Monday Night Football crew is defending the call. You cannot defend that call. That's never called holding. That's a great punt by Pinion. Going to get a good roll there, and it's going to go down to the 9-yard line.
Again, kind of just seems like what we talked about earlier, right? Like you're seeing that hand outside the frame of the front of your shoulders, and seems like they're just instinctively throwing a flag almost.
It's not only that there's bad calls. They are literally changing the game when the Bucs are playing, at least. Like, I'm not a Bucs fan. You're never going to, you cover the team, your people are always going to shout, yeah, sure. But it's just unbelievable. Like, this kind of luck is, it's just unbelievable. Like, there's no other word for it, man. Like, it just cannot, like, this kind of thing can't continue. Like, the league's got to be hearing about all this garbage. Like, just unbelievable.
And I don't buy any conspiracies type of stuff, but it's just bad luck and bad officiating. I don't think
here's Daniel Jones back to throw quickly to Saquon Barkley, who's wrapped up by Devin White and going to be knocked down for a loss of a yard. I can't believe that play. Took a touchdown right off the board. Meanwhile, Wirfs is out here destroying people.
I do like that they're using Tryon Shoyinka on the inside of the defensive line on obvious pass downs.
Yeah. 17 seconds left. Jones is back to pass again, by the way. Throws over the middle of the field to Barkley. Gets by Devin White and is going to pick up 11 yards, but there's only 9 seconds left, and they're down to their own 20.
So, I mean,
that sequence, though, man, we'll come back to that sequence, right? Like, that's kept this a game because the Giants are going to get the ball to start the second half. I mean, that's a huge play down the middle field to Brate, drop, touchdown to Perryman, drop, and then officiating takes after the huge catch and run by Godwin down to the 1-yard line off the board. I mean, that's the kind of stuff all season long with the Bucs. And you could talk about the officials, and we will, because it's ridiculous. Like, people need to be fined and all that kind of stuff for that, but you just cannot keep dropping the ball and scoring. That's 4 drops in this game, and 1 was a touchdown.
I mean, maybe even two of them. Or sorry, wait. Yeah.
Oh, try and
wait,
Schwenker,
sorry,
by
what
the
did
way.
you say? Did you say drops? Never mind. I misunderstood.
Oh, that's a fumble. Bucs recover. I don't know if anybody touched Winfield. Now he's going to be wrapped up and he's going to be knocked down. Now he fumbled. Mike Edwards picks that up. He gets a block and he's going to be knocked out of bounds. So I think that's a turnover on the Giants to end the half, but it's no time left. But
man,
that's just so big because now you come out in the second half defensively, you got to make another stand. But it's literally a score from being a tie game now. And the way that the Bucs have played defensively, it's scary. So yes, it's definitely officials and it's egregious and it's got to end. But it's hard because you also look at the stuff you do to yourself with dropping the football. And part of it's just, get Antonio Brown back out there. Gronk's fully healthy. He's playing way more snaps and you don't have Brady. But I mean, Brady's got to make that call. He's a veteran. He started for years in this league, produced. You got to make that catch. Like, period.
Yeah,
and
no doubt.
Perryman, I get it. He's rusty and he's probably not very good. And, they should have activated Scotty Miller, he doesn't drop we can go over and over it, but that's a great freaking throw. And it's got to be a touchdown, man.
Great half by Brady. I mean, one of the best he's had all year. Yeah. I wouldn't say the best, but it was terrific.
Oh yeah, absolutely unbelievable. Just an outstanding half. I am for sure. We'll get into the numbers at halftime. Scott Reynolds is coming up here on the halftime report. He'll have some of the numbers for us at that half. But man, that is hard end of the half to stomach if you're the Bucs because you did so many things well, and you just can't let it affect you. You gotta be able to come out and make something happen in the second half, both sides of the ball for sure. You can't let it affect you too much that you've had 2 drives. You had 5 drives in that game. You score on 3 of them. But you have that be the end of one of your drives, some of that out of your control, some of it in your control. And you have the fumble, the interception fumble basically for a touchdown by Mike Evans, or interception or drop interception by Evans basically for a touchdown. So you've basically had 2 drives go about as pretty horribly, and then you've had 3 go great, but it's all been within your control. You've pretty much done whatever you wanted to do, and you still have 17 points, and you should have more in the half. And we've been kind of doing the same thing with the Bucs all year. How you win games matters. They've given the Giants 7 points. They've blown 2 opportunities to put points on the board. Refs help blow it. But whatever the situation is, whether it's luck or their own mistakes, we're just seeing the same movie over and over again with this offense. And it's a shame because we should be talking about how outstanding the offense played in the first half because they were terrific in terms of doing whatever they want to do. Giants had no answer.
Even the defense played well. I mean,
yeah, sure.
Yeah, both. I mean, all around, the Bucs are playing way better, completely outplaying the Giants. Oh, yeah. I mean, they should be up by 2-3 touchdowns at this point, really, in terms of if you're just going by how they've played. But just these bad breaks, man, and there's just nothing else to say about it. There's not a whole lot of analysis to be had with those, and with some of it being officiating, some of it being drops. There's just not much to say. But I agree that at some point, you think it's going to turn around. I would have to imagine it will. And when it does, the Bucs are going to be blowing out teams again like they were before.
I hope you're right, man. The officiating thing is driving me crazy because I like stuff that you can talk about and analyze and quantify with football, and it ruins the whole game. Ruins the whole game because now you're talking about a failed drive and all this stuff going down the stat sheet, and and it's not a touchdown when it should be. It's not a huge game for Godwin when it should be. And then it's just Godwin have a good game. Did Brady have a good game? They can't put points up in the last 2 minutes of the half. You can't do that. And all those storylines come, and you have to go back and talk about officiating being the reason this happened. And nobody wants to hear that. They're all, especially non-Bucs fans are always so it just ruins the whole game when things like that happen to me. It makes it really, really frustrating. And it's hard. It's hard to stomach that stuff at this point in the season. We've got to be better as officials at this point in the season, especially on a play like that is just so obviously not a penalty. Makes it even more frustrating. So,
but let's talk about some of the things we can analyze. And by the way, I'm with Hizo here. The both sides of the ball are playing really well. And let's talk about some of the stuff. Let's talk about some of the stuff they're doing, right? So, I mean, let's start with the offense. Their game plan revolves around what the defense is doing. The Giants, again, playing with these soft 2 high zones and man coverages, that keeping 2 safeties deep, and they're adamant that they're not going to get beat deep. But the Bucs have managed to create a couple of deep opportunities anyways, off double moves, good scheming, stuff over the middle. And the other thing they've done, and what they've done all year, is going to those quick screen passes or those quick smoke routes, even on designed runs, they have the option to just throw it outside if that corner's way off. So that's kind of how the Bucs have countered. And they've had those early down passing that's been good. And we saw some up tempo, which we haven't often seen. So that's kind of the new element. A lot of things to like. And then Brady, obviously, so aware in that pocket, stepping up, creating extra time. But schematically, as far as offense goes, that's what I've seen so far.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And we've got Scott Reynolds in here to talk us off the ledge here. Scott, I mean, officiating is just completely out of control, man. Like, what are we even doing at this point?
Yeah, what can you say at this point in time? I don't know what a catch is. I don't know what roughing the passer is anymore. I mean, the officiating, don't get me started. It's ruining the game. It really is.
But do you know what holding is? Because if you do, then and everyone should have some semblance of an idea.
Yes.
You'll know that is in no way, shape, or form holding.
That happens multiple times in every NFL game.
He dominated the guy, and he gets penalized for it. And that's
especially when the pass rusher loses his footing, right?
Tried an inside spin,
exactly,
got slammed.
Yeah,
and then Wirfs gets flagged.
Yeah,
and it takes
ridiculous.
A touchdown off the board and changes the entire game. But granted,
it really does.
Go back, Brate's drop, Perryman's drop was a touchdown.
Yeah,
those hurt, and they changed the game too. And the Bucs could control those, so don't leave it in the hands of the official. Is the other way to look at it.
That's right. Yeah. So so far Tom Brady is off to a pretty decent start. You mentioned a couple drops. This night could be looking even better, John. 20 of 29, 198 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Boy.
Yeah, 4 drops.
Yeah, and listen, one of those was an egregious one by Mike Evans. You got to get your hands up front and let that ball bounce off your shoulder pads. We've seen now that's twice in 2 weeks. Jalen Darden had a similar play happen. These wide receiver screens are great when they work, John, but when they don't, it's turning over the ball to the other team. Rob Gronkowski has been huge in this game. 35-yard catch down there into the red zone, 5 catches, 57 yards. Chris Godwin, 5 catches, 47 yards, TD. I loved everything about that first drive, John. My goodness, what an impressive drive by Byron Leftwich. When you look at what he was able to do there and mix it up, they came out, play action pass on the first play to tight end O.J. Howard, back-to-back end arounds. Then you go up-tempo after Cameron Brate's catch on that first drive. And the Bucs touchdown pass was off play action to Chris Godwin. So loved everything about it. It's just been, like you said, the drops that's really kind of stymied this offense since. On the defensive side of the ball, also, we should give props to Ronald Jones, the forgotten man, with 20 yards rushing and a touchdown so far. Sean Murphy-Bunting has been targeted a lot. I mean, it's expected, right, for a guy that has not played since week 1, and he didn't even look that great in week 1 before he got hurt. But John, Sean Murphy-Bunting has struggled tonight, and that's to be expected with the rust. But credit the Giants for going after him, because he's right now the weak link. You've got Jamel Dean, who's played so many snaps and has played well this season. Devin White, 4 tackles. But again, we've seen 0 sacks from this defensive line. I've not seen much pressure. Jones has been hit a couple times. 1 takeaway.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best things about that first half, and it's such a freaking shame that the officials just screwed it up, but Brady's pocket movement. Throw to Godwin is a great example. Pocket's kind of compressing a little bit, just being able to find a lane, step forward through the pocket, throw on the
Brady scramble, John.
The scramble was a great play on 3rd down. He's playing at an elite level in this game, and 4 drops have been huge. One of them took a touchdown off the board, the one by Perryman for the Bucs. The other one gave a touchdown to the Giants. Should be a 24-3 game at least right now. If they don't get any points on the Evans drop interception drive, instead it's a 17-10 game.
Yep. And
we have been here so many times with this team this season, last season, regular season. It's hard to know what more to say, Scott. It's refs, and it was last season at times too, but this year is egregious. I mean, I mentioned at the outset, the Bucs, their penalty rate's obviously absurd, but the fact that they are also benefiting, dead last in the league, benefiting from penalties and penalty yards this year, it's got to swing at some point. But the luck, man, I said this too, Scott, and you know this, that Brady to Evans, they run it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Evans catches 990 of them probably.
Yeah.
And the 10 he doesn't catch, I mean,
Right.
you literally maybe one ends up like
Right.
that
And
one.
John,
where it
it's
bounced
not
off
that
everything.
it's not that it even hit the ground; it bounced straight up, right, and allows
Yeah.
the defensive back to
Right.
close. Adoree Jackson gets the
It's just
interception.
some of it's luck.
And by the way, I mean, we're not talking about, at the Giants 20, we're talking about at the Tampa Bay 20, right? So then that ball got advanced well into the red zone, set up the first touchdown by the Giants. So, and then listen, hats off to the Giants, a little trickeration with the Andrew Thomas touchdown. Nobody saw that coming. You can't blame anybody in the Bucs defense for not covering the tackle, right? Because you're not expecting that. That's what makes it a trick play, So,
no complaints with the defense, honestly,
Yeah.
for the most part. And that first drive was ugly. They got it together and played pretty
Yeah.
well after that. And obviously not a lot of chances for the Giants other than that, being at the 5. But so far, so good for the defense. Pressure's got to keep getting home, though, because this is a huge drive all of a sudden. Shouldn't be, but it's now a huge drive to start the second. This could be a tie game, Scott. That's incredible.
I'd love to see more of the just pressure, just getting to Daniel Jones, right? I mean, I really thought that Shaq Barrett could go off this game, and he has the second half to do it. But I've seen him just kind of be a pedestrian at times. Same with Jason Pierre-Paul. Listen, Jason Pierre-Paul played every snap of the first drive, every single one, right? It was a 12, 13 play drive for the field goal, and there's just no reason to play him that much. I mean, even Shaq Barrett sat out for a couple plays. They rotated their tackles. I just don't see the benefit to Jason Pierre-Paul playing that much. He's not a difference maker right now with that shoulder injury, and I just don't know what Todd Bowles is doing.
Yeah, I agree with you. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka looks great. He's moving around unbelievable. I'd love to see him, get some opportunities. He's dropping into coverage. 15% of his snaps this season, Scott, have been in coverage. That is just hard to even fathom because a lot of his snaps are going to be run defense too. So he's not even being used as a pass rush specialist for this team, which is so silly to me. They're putting more on his plate instead of less as a rookie. And then they're wondering why he's not able to play a larger snap load. It's like, you could control that as coaches. Like when he gets, some of the stuff is egregious and he needs to play more, but you're right. Pierre-Paul's been ineffective. I do think Barrett's had some good pressures, and playing him a good bit, at least to start the game on the left side, was a good call. He beat Solder a few times and got some pressure. They got to contain Jones. They're forcing him way deep in the pocket, and he's kind of backing out of the pocket and getting outside, but finishes are huge. They've got to finish a little bit more often as a pass rush group. Great rush by Ndamukong Suh on that third down.
That was
able to get the defense off the field. So they've done some good things, but because of the officials and the offensive mistakes, the offense has done whatever they've wanted, whatever they've allowed themselves to do really all game. This is still somehow a game despite both units playing really well outside of a couple plays. Those couple plays have been absolutely pivotal. It's not like that drop just hits the ground, or there's just that one drop and then they come back and catch the next one. They've compounded it with more mistakes. So
I've got a bad habit of making other teams stay in the game, and that's just what's happening. And they should be pulling away right now, like you said. The touchdown taken off the board by the Tristan Wirfs penalty, that was huge, right? It looks a lot different, 24-10, but this again is Bucs Giants, man. This is a close, hard fought game like it always is right now. One play can give the Buccaneers a nice cushion. Another play could tie this game right up for the Giants. So it's exactly what I expected right now. It's within the point spread, which I expected as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've all started to expect these kind of situations for the Bucs, for better or worse, as we get ready to start the second half of action here. Scott, thanks for dropping in with us. Appreciate it, man. Enjoy the second half, and we'll obviously be back on the post-game podcast later. Scott will be back with all of us. That'll be about 45 minutes after this game ends. By the way, if you're in the chat watching the game, hit the like button, please, on this video. If you haven't yet, let's bump us up. Saw it. We got to 6,000 subscribers. So we've reeled in over 30 subscribers, I believe, during this show, which is awesome. Everybody, we appreciate the love and the shares so much. Thanks for getting us there. And now we're on to 7,000 and 10,000, and all those marks are going to be next for the show. We've been doing this about a year now live here on YouTube. So it's been a fun first year, and we're excited for more content coming down the road. Obviously, as the Giants start from their 25-yard line to start the second half, and just a huge drive, Paul. This is such a big drive in this game because the Giants, unbelievably fortunate for it to be a one-score game. Bucs defense has struggled a lot this season, and they've played pretty well in this one, but gonna have to crank it up a notch to get off the field here.
So similar coverage look here from the Bucs again so far to what they're showing in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely, no question, and we appreciate the congrats, Hizo, as the Giants start 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Jones is working from the shotgun. Saquon Barkley next to him in the backfield. Mike Edwards blitzing off the edge, almost got a piece of that one. Kadarius Toney out in the flat is going to pick up 4 yards. Stiff-armed Sean Murphy Bunting for about 4 yards there. Murphy Bunting hit him at the line of scrimmage, and the Giants will be in 2nd and 6.
Yeah, Mike's stream kind of glitched out, so I wasn't totally able to see what happened there.
Yeah, Murphy Bunting beat the block pretty quickly by Kenny Golladay, but and Devin White came across the field and leveled Sean Murphy Bunting. That's the 4th teammate this year Devin White is taken out with a big hit. Scott texted it to me too. I see. We're keeping track of how many teammates Devin White takes out this year. It's a little fun project for us. Daniel Jones, play action over the middle of the field, incomplete. Coverage there by Jamel Dean is good. There is a flag now, of course. I was going to say you can't really have a closely contested target by a Bucs defender without pass interference on defense. We get it. You're not going to let him play football.
I mean, maybe a little. Yeah. Okay.
I haven't seen the replay yet, so here's Dean. It's man coverage for Dean. Gets his hands on early. I mean, it's slight. It's slight. Could go either way. It would be less frustrating if they hadn't already screwed the Bucs.
Yeah, exactly.
But 1st and 10 for the Giants at their own 38. It's going to be predictable at this point, man. Like, this team's not going to catch breaks. 1st and 10. Daniel Jones sends it back in motion. Takes the snap. Pressure is not there, and he throws down the sideline wide open as Kyle Rudolph for a huge gain down to the Bucs 34-yard line. 28-yard pass play.
Double just verticals there on that side of the field, and I'm not sure if that was some sort of hole shot where Shaq Barrett is playing as the cloud corner, and then you have a bunch of space in between him and the safety. But
yeah, it looks like they out verticaled him to that side almost. I'd like to see the high shot of it, but so here goes the Giants offense right in striking distance once again, and this has been the predictable script right here as they're at the Bucs 34-yard line. Here Saquon Barkley on a short pitch, and Jason Pierre-Paul brings him down after a gain of 2. Weird tackle there. And it'll be 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9.
It's kind of confusing or a little weird that the Giants haven't attacked the flats more, just with how the Bucs are giving it up, right? You saw them use that go and out combination Ohio concept earlier. Mm-hmm. It's curious that they haven't gone back to that.
Right, for sure. Yeah, it's worked a lot against the Bucs this season. And maybe they will at some point, maybe even here as Jones in the shotgun. Giants haven't had a lot of snaps. That's something to keep in mind too.
Right.
Especially a lot of meaningful ones. Here's pressure coming on Daniel Jones, and he throws high and incomplete for Darius Slayton. So 3rd and 9 from the Bucs 33-yard line coming up here for the Giants.
More soft coverage there, but not quite as soft as before. And Jamel Dean not biting on that double fake. Kind of looked like a stop, go, and stop or something like that. Yeah. And Dean's there in position. But Daniel Jones missing the throw anyway.
For sure. Good inside move there by JPP. As Solder said, he kind of swiped him and got inside of him. And now Jones changing things up at the line of scrimmage on 3rd and 9. Huge play here. Bucs showing 4-man rush, and they do send 4. Jones throws over the middle. Kadarius Toney makes the catch, slips out of a tackle, but can't get there. It's going to be 4th and 2, it looks like.
Good, nice stunt there with JPP and Tryon Shoyinka. Again, using Tryon Shoyinka kind of to the inside of the defensive line and trying to get some more looks that way, becoming more pass rush oriented, John. We've talked about this a lot. There's a great run stuffing defensive line with Vita Vea in there, but they haven't been a great pass rushing defensive line. And this is a good way to try to maybe mix that up and get something going.
Yeah. It's a 4th and a long one here, I believe, for the Giants. And at the very least, you see if the Bucs will jump offside, since they're the king of jumping offside. Basically, no, they're going to go for it. Jones, and here comes pressure. They gets out of it, and he throws incomplete on 4th down. And pressure came fast on Jones as he rolled out. They tried to quick snap it. Great job by the defense. Flew in there, got pressure on Daniel Jones. He had to throw it quick. He did avoid the initial sack. Somebody overran it badly. It might have been White. And
no,
he ended up
White
throwing it
came in on
incomplete.
this as the second rusher.
Second rusher. Okay.
So, but it's so hard. I mean, it looked like they're almost trying to get a bootleg there, but Daniel Jones just stops it. It's so hard to boot against this team because of how much speed they have on the outside, John. When Devin White, especially, is the guy coming in on that blitz, you're not going to beat him to that edge, and you're just going to have a hard time on those boots.
Yeah. Some people joking. Hizo says, I'm still looking to see if the refs threw a flag. So good stand, big stand by the Bucs defense there to keep this a 17-10 game. And the Bucs are going to take over 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Yeah, Devin White, if he had slowed down there, he literally, Philly Phil says, he could have killed it. He came flying in completely untouched. Jones rolled out, turned around. I mean, White had him. I'm not sure how he totally missed him there, but big whiff, and Jones ended up throwing incomplete anyway there. But the pressure seemed to maybe rattle Jones a little bit. Good coverage. Winfield was right there amongst others, I believe. Whitehead, Levante David in coverage seemed to have everything sniffed out, and that was especially tricky because the Giants quick snapped it. They got to the line of scrimmage. The Bucs are probably think they're going to try and get us to jump because the Bucs have jumped so much this season. Instead, they quick snap it, and the Bucs were ready, though. Give them credit.
Yeah, and I saw that incorrectly the first time. You're right. It was White who came in first, missed the tackle, and then it was Sue, I think, who provided that kind of the extra last little pressure there, forcing Jones to get rid of the ball.
Yeah. Could have been a big miss, but instead, the Bucs defense rallies up and they get off the field, and the Bucs offense will take over. And man, what's the mood offensively? Like, you've done what you've wanted to do, even when you've made it harder for yourself at times with the play calling as the game's gone on a little bit. It really has barely affected things. I mean, they're 4 for 6 on 3rd down, and one of those was a 3rd and 20 that really had very little shot after they shot themselves in the foot, and the ref shot them in the foot a few times. So they've been good even in those situations, Paul. And, I mean, obviously you want to get back to the play action game, I'm sure, to start the second half.
Yeah, I'm curious what the count is. It's got to be very low for play action usage thus far. But other than that, I want to see that early down passing. I want to see up tempo like they had before. Honestly, not a whole lot to critique offensively outside of just like the mistakes, right? Very good game plan, or not just pretty good game plan, but great execution from the quarterback so far. Good job by receivers staying alive on plays that break down. There were a couple of those where Brady stepped up in the pocket. And with Brady, that's effectively scramble drills, whereas other quarterbacks are going to get outside the pocket and you got to go into scramble drill rules. These receivers know when you see Brady take that big step up, it's effectively like scramble drills. You got to basically run in the opposite directions. If you're going up the field, come down the field. If you're coming down the field, go up the field.
Yeah. And on 1st down, they ran it, by the way, -1. And then Brady tries to show back shoulder 2nd down to Evans, and it's incomplete. So now they're in 3rd and 11 very quickly at their own 25-yard line. And go back to the 1st down runs, man. They just haven't worked. They've, at the best, they've gained 3 yards. And again, it's just, those are the kind of stuff you can avoid doing that to yourself. You're not a great rushing football team. You must keep yourself in better down and distances, and they just haven't done it. It's frustrating to watch, but 3rd and 11 from their own 25 now for the Bucs offense.
So confused. I completely missed those 2 plays.
Here's Brady on 3rd and 11. Giants bringing pressure. Steps up in the pocket. Up, and throws. Mike Evans makes the juggling catch. It was right in his hands. He almost dropped it. Beat Bradbury on the comeback, but got the 1st down. And now Evans is out of the game hurt. And we'll see what the situation is there with him. But he threw on the brakes on Bradbury here. Gets the deep curl. Makes the catch. Looked like a pretty innocuous tackle. But he is hurt and out of the game. So it's going to be... They're scraping the bottom of the barrel now. They've got Rashad Perryman out there with Chris Godwin and Jalen Darden. So not even Tyler Johnson right now is available.
Yeah, hopefully that's just
1st and 10 for the Bucs. Their own 42-yard line. Brady, plenty of time looking over the middle of the field. Rashad Perryman makes the catch. He's across midfield to the Giants' 44-yard line, 14-yard gain. And Rashad Perryman, his first catch of the season.
Nice switch release there. You had a post there from the number 3, and then that dig from Berryman just replacing it over the middle. Good concept to create space.
Yep, 1st and 10 from the Giants' 44-yard line after Brady hits Perryman for 14. Brady back to pass. Throw to Fournette on the screen. Got blockers out in front of him. Big gain. First down. Out across the 20, down to the 15. Running through tacklers down to the 15. And guess what? There is a flag on the play. Huge gain for the Bucs once again.
Mike Evans,
see what the flag
back
is.
out there.
Legal formation. Back him up. That would have been a first down at the Giants' 15-yard line after the huge screen pass to Fournette. 29-yard gain. Now it's an illegal formation on Mike Evans, who is...
He's off. He's not on the line of scrimmage. And
yeah, Evans is back in the game, though. We'll see.
He's that X receiver. They're counting on him to be on the line of scrimmage to meet that rule requirement of how many guys you need on it.
He should check that with the official, though, and they should get that right every time.
Yeah, normally you see them put that arm up like this.
I mean, he's not in any different of a position on this play than he was in the last play, and he's on the line of scrimmage here. Brady throws over the middle of the field. Gronkowski makes the catch. He's got 15 yards. He'll be right near the first down. What's it going to be, 2nd and inches? Great throw and catch by Brady and Gronkowski.
That's tier, John. Brady went on Monday Night Football with Manning, talked about it. He called it a classic Manning play. Mm-hmm. That's what it is right there.
Great play, even when they shoot themselves in the foot, trying to get it back. And now 2nd and 1 from the Giants' 35-yard line. Here's Brady going to go play action. There it is. Play action on 2nd and 1. Chris Godwin over the middle of the field, down to the 17-yard line, 1st and 10. There's the play action on 2nd and short, Paul. I love it. There's tears in my eyes.
And using Gronkowski kind of behind that tackle there in that position. Not sure exactly what that name for it is, but it's becoming more and more common in the league this year.
Here's Brady back to pass the screen again to Fournette. He's got blockers out in front of him. Good patience, but Ryan Jensen missed his block. And it's just going to be a 4-yard gain. Could have had a bigger gain there maybe. Jensen just couldn't corral his guy in space there. Those are so tough, man. You get out in space, a big guy moving that fast. As soon as the angle gets off, it's just tough to hit and stick guys in the middle of the field.
Yeah, I agree, but I like that you pointed out the patience there by Fournette. That was bang on. He's letting the blocks develop. He's not rushing it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, just going back to that Evans play is just so silly to me. He's in the same place every single play, and he's in the same exact distance from that line of scrimmage line on every player. Here's Brady back to pass on 2nd and 6. Looking, throws underneath, Fournette incomplete. So it's going to be 3rd and 6. There's a penalty here.
Just not able to win against.
This one's going to be on the Giants, by the way. I know that's just calm down, Paul. I'm sure this is real. They're going to benefit from a call. Yes, it's happening. They can't take it back. They already called it. It's defensive holding. It's an automatic first down. This is possible. It's 1st and goal at the Giants' 8-yard line for the Bucs.
I, in fact, did not know that was possible. But I was going to say Fournette not able to win on that Texas route there or that angle route. That's one of those situations where I have to imagine Gio beats that linebacker. The question is if that linebacker's on the field with Gio there. But if he is, I think Gio's winning that route.
Right. I agree with you on that. It's a situation where you'd like to see him used for sure. And here's Brady, handoff Fournette. He's going to pick his way down about the 5-yard line. So gain of 3. And again, I'll keep going back to it because I think in this area of the field, it's one thing we don't talk about very much in any area of football. We don't talk about how much harder it is, how much easier it is for a defense to cover in the red area. And so you need to use all your pass plays. You need to use all your opportunities when it's from the 8, from the 9, from the 10.
Yeah, in that low red zone in particular. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. You call that the low red zone when they're out of the 8, 9, 10? Is that what you're calling it?
That's
or are you talking about like inside the 5, you call the low
I'm calling
red.
it like 10, I don't know. Is there a formal definition?
I didn't know which one's low and which one's high. Is it high red zone when you're inside the 5 or is it?
High red zone is when you're by the 20.
Okay, so high red zone. So you're talking about mid red zone, I would call it maybe. Brady back to pass, pressure coming outside the pocket, looking. He's scrambling out to his right. He throws, and it's going to be incomplete. He throws it away. So 3rd and goal from the 5 coming here. He had some time there, but could not find anyone. And now you're 3rd and goal from the 5. All of a sudden, you can't come away with field goals in these situations if you want to close the door on a team like the Giants.
That's really good coverage. That was really good coverage there.
Yep.
Trying to get that bunch set there, trying to create rubs off the line of scrimmage against man coverage, but Giants handling it real well.
Yeah. Here we go. 3rd and goal from the 5. Huge, huge play in this game. Brady from the shotgun takes the snap. 3-man rush, has time, throws. Mike Evans posts up James Bradbury for the touchdown.
That was just like a rebound, John. Really did just box him out. Get his feet around his feet. Great execution. Maybe the best red zone target there is.
Yeah. 10 touchdowns in the season for Mike Evans. He now has 7 touchdowns in his last 5 games against the Giants.
Great timing on that throw, John. Evans faking that out route, cutting right back in. And as soon as he's making that cut in, the ball's in the air. So Evans doesn't even need to keep running on that inwards part of the route. The ball is already there. Great timing between the two of them. Something that we've at times wished was a little bit better, despite how productive they've been, but on the same page there with Brady and Evans.
Yeah, no question. And Succop's extra point is good. And so it's 24-10. Mike Evans passes Mike Allstock for the all-time leading touchdown maker in Bucs history. 72 touchdowns now in his career. And he's averaging 1 per game. What is this, game number 10 for the Bucs this season? He has 10 touchdowns. We'll see if he can get anything else going in this game as it goes on. But this is situation for Evans now where he's looking at a realistic shot at breaking his own record. What was it, 13 or 14 last year? Now I can't remember.
I can't remember either, but now suddenly the game looking a lot more like how it should, right? On the scoreboard.
It is, but the Bucs defense in these situations, Bruce Arians has specifically talked about, I don't want to be the negative Nancy guy, but in these situations, Bruce Arians has particularly talked about it, right? Paul, he said, what's most frustrating to me is when we start getting rolling on offense, the defense gives it up. And that's what's been front. Have had some stands, and we saw this Washington, right? They started getting going against Washington. Defense gave it up. They started getting going against the Saints second half. Defense kept giving it up and wasn't able to hang in there. They've played great in this game defensively. That needs to continue on this drive. This is a huge point of the game. Offensively, the Bucs have basically done whatever they've wanted, whatever they've not made mistakes on in this game. Well, they have 6 drives and they've scored on 4 of them, and they had the drop interception, and then obviously had the touchdown taken off the board by the officials being idiots. So you basically are in a situation now where if you can get us off defensively, you're feeling very good about the game. But this next drive is pretty critical, and we know how it's gone for the Bucs defense, and we also know how Bucs Giants games tend to go, despite one team being a lot better than the other.
Hey, but unlike last year where I thought the Bucs really played down to the level of competition,
Agreed.
They're not. They're completely outplaying the Giants, even more so than the 2 touchdown lead. Now, as far as how the defense does, I think to me, this is really about the Giants making adjustments, because the Bucs have shown you what they're going to do schematically. They've mixed in a little more man than they usually do, but overall, you know what coverages they're going to get in what situations by now. They've stuck to their tendencies. So now, can the Giants make those adjustments? Because they kind of haven't so far, John. It's been really weird. They're not attacking what's there for them. They're few too many first down runs. I don't know exactly what the numbers are, but the Bucs are giving it there. If you're willing to be patient underneath to the sideline, you can get up the field that way.
Right. Yeah. So far for the Giants, Saquon Barkley, 4 carries, 11 yards, and he's averaging 2.8 yards a carry. Jones has 3 carries for 10 yards. And one of those is scramble, I believe, or maybe all of them were scramble. One of them was a designed run, I think.
Yeah, at least one of them was a design. I think 2.
2 maybe. Okay. So, and then Ross has the end around for 16. That's the only real rush play they've had that's worked much. And the passing, Jones is 121 yards in this one. Some of those did come on that last drive where the Bucs were playing soft before the half. So, like I said, defensively, they've done some really good things, but need to be tighter here than they were on that last drive.
I'm so happy that they're finally going to a more pass rush oriented defensive line.
Yeah, I wonder if Vea being out has something to do. Like, you just figured we might
no doubt
get our horses on the field if we're going to be in these situations. So, but Brady's been unbelievable in this game. I mean, he's been, the numbers are crazy. 26 and 37. 4 drops in there? Maybe
the numbers completely undersell how good he's been. This is going to be one of those where I think the PFF grade tells a much more accurate story than the numbers. 270 yards, 2 touchdowns. Obviously, the pick that was not on him. And so Giants are going to take over 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. This is a big drive in this game. Daniel Jones, they're going heavy personnel. They got extra O-line out there, 2 tight ends out there. Daniel Jones is going to go play action. They're max protecting it up. He's got tons of time, throws underneath. Saquon Barkley makes the catch, gets upfield. Going to step out with the first down, 11-yard gain down to the Giants' 36-yard line. There it is, John. You just attack those flats. That's what the Bucs are giving you. So what you can do is you can run vertical routes on the outside to really stretch those guys out even more, and then get someone coming in underneath to replace them. That's one way you can do it. The other thing, obviously, you can just do is throw a smoke route there or a hitch or something like that. A lot of different ways you can attack those flats, and I wonder if the Bucs counter eventually by tightening up a little bit, and they're showing it here.
Yeah, here's Jones, handoff Barkley, and he's going to get stopped by Devin White and Will Golston after a gain of maybe 2. So 2nd and 8 coming up for the Giants offense.
It almost feels like when the Bucs do tighten up outside on first downs, that the Giants have tended to run it. I don't know if that's if that's just variance or if that's actually a game plan specific thing. But if that is, then if I'm the Bucs, I'm playing tight on first down every single time because I want teams to run. I want to do anything I can as the Bucs to get teams to run against me.
Yeah, I agree completely with you.
And again, tight coverage on the outside here, John. But now they're loosening up.
Yeah, 2nd and 8, Jones, play action. Devin White's in pursuit. He hits him, and that one's going to be intercepted. Steve McClendon. Daniel Jones threw it right to him at the 39-yard line.
Jared Goff-esque.
What was Daniel Jones doing?
That was Jared Goff-esque right there.
Jeez. Jared Goff caught a stray on the broadcast. Jeez. Devin White applies the pressure here. Late blitz. Daniel Jones trying to hit a throwback screen.
It's got to be
nobody even close.
But where's the intended receiver?
I have no clue. He just throws it right to Steve McClendon. Oh, I got to look up how many picks Steve McClendon has in his career. Did not think I would be doing this. I should have been prepared. I wasn't prepared. Bucs offense will take over the Giants 37, by the way.
All right, there you go. So, just both sides of the ball playing probably their best cohesive game so far of the season, maybe. I don't know. It's too early to so far, but I know that
get this ball in the end zone, and then I'll.
Yeah, that dropped interception really taints things too. But
yeah, this should be a 34-3 game. That's that. It's been that kind of dominance. Like that's the.
Yep.
That's more the score that would suggest the dominance. By the way, looking for Steve McClendon here. First career interception. Yes. Wow. I love it.
That was great.
I love it.
Right spot, right time.
Ball hawk, Steve McClendon.
Ball hawk, yes.
And it's because Vea's out, obviously. He just read that play all the way.
You read my mind. I was about to start the hot take machine. Is this defense better without Vita Vea?
That's a good question.
No, it's
unbelievable. Incredible stuff. Yeah, somebody said Bull strategy finally plays off. Actually, McClendon was not dropping into coverage there. He was rushing. He just read the play, I believe. I'm pretty sure he was not dropping into coverage there.
He was on the ground, wasn't he?
No, he kind of caught the ball and fell as he was catching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But hey, by the way, it seemed like they're kind of going to that tighter coverage a little more.
Yeah.
I hope it's not just because, hey, this is Daniel Jones. I hope they keep it up against other quarterbacks too. The encouraging thing is it's not like Taylor Heineke is a particularly good quarterback, and they weren't doing this against him. So That's another reason to think that maybe this is an actual long-term change. Maybe. Been a ton of soft coverage this game too, but one can hope.
One can definitely hope. With ball hawks like Steve McClendon out there, you can't be too careful. But that was very much a Daniel Jones-esque play there. And now we will see, can the Bucs offense put the nail in the coffin? These are the situations where it feels like this team has struggled to finish on. Now a golden opportunity here for the Bucs offense to kind of put this thing away as a 1st and 10 from the Giants 37-yard line. So just outside probably field goal range to start the drive. Started in 12 personnel. Brady play action, throws. They got the screen to Fournette set up nicely. He spins and picks up 8. And so 2nd and 2 from the Giants 29. Good first down play. Love first down screens. Big first down screen guy.
If they're off a play action, I'm with it. That's fine. Just a tremendous job today, John, of staying in 2nd and short, 2nd and manageable.
Yeah.
Best they've done with that all year for sure.
Right. Yep. Completely agree with you. It'll be interesting to see the run pass splits in those situations too. Now they're in 2nd and 2, and again, everything's open and available to you. You're in really comfortable situation offensively here. And
look at what that does sequencing wise there, John. If you gain that 4 yards right there on first down, that's not really that great of an outcome.
That's right.
And then you're passing on second down. You flip that, same overall frequencies and same play calls, but now you're way more unpredictable on second down. You could do anything there.
Yep. Great call. Great. Yeah, exactly what we mean when we're talking about sequences. It's not about running more, passing more, or running less and passing more. It's just about the amount of time you basically, or when you do those things. Like that's what teams have to make sure that they understand it. So you feel great about a 4-yard run on 2nd and 2. You feel pretty bad about it on 1st and 10. And that's the difference is making sure you pick the spots you can be most productive in. And here we go. Brady play action. And he wants Gronk underneath on the screen, but the Giants sift it out. So he throws it away. Leonard Williams sifted out and was all over it.
Yeah, I'm glad you pointed out. That was definitely a throwaway. That the Giants are right there, so Brady just kind of darts it into the ground.
Yep, they're trying to get these screens now.
Yeah, just a little over reliant on them. In my opinion.
Say it's heavy, Paul.
I've been saying it for a few weeks now, but
that's the 4th screen on like their last 7 passes, maybe.
Right. Yeah, you know that you guys are the best drop back team in the NFL, probably. Like, come on, just
right. We can do a little more. 2nd and 10 now from the Giants' 25-yard line, and we're going to get a timeout here by the Bucs, I think.
But yeah, the screens, the Bucs are one of the heaviest screen using teams in the league right now, but they're actually closer to middle of the pack when it comes to efficiency. I think just outside the top 10 maybe. And the thing with screens though is that it's not intuitive, John, but they're not an efficient play type. Over half the league is actually averaging negative EPA whenever they call any type of screen pass. And the Bucs are just barely above 0. So it's kind of like running the ball a little bit, but yeah.
It's all about like timing and execution so big because there's so many moving pieces on the screen. Like so many pieces have to execute well for it to happen. Whereas like even in the passing game, for example, like protection to a degree has to hold up, but even if protection goes wrong, you can get the ball out quick. One receiver's got to win or concept's got to win. And that's kind of it. Here's Brady on 2nd and 10, throws underneath Evans, and it's going to be incomplete. So now 3rd and 10, and the Bucs offense in a trouble spot here. Huge play, 4:43 left in the 3rd quarter. Bucs lead 24-10.
Looked like another throwaway there, John. Looks like
I think it was.
Yeah, not seeing anything down the field. Not sure exactly what happened there on the back end. But the Giants have had some good reps of coverage defensively this game.
Right. I agree with you. I'll get the score back up here, 3rd quarter. Big spot for the Bucs offense on 3rd and 10 here. From the Giants 25. Brady takes the snap. Free rusher. Brady has to get it out quickly to Giovanni Bernard, and he is only going to get about 3 yards there. So no choice for Brady there with the free rusher. Had to get it out to the check down pretty fast. He's talking to the official after the play. Donovan Smith stepped down as he should, but something wasn't right with the protection. It definitely was not blocked how Brady was expecting it to be blocked.
I wonder if he expected Giovanni Bernard to stay in protection there.
I was thinking the same thing, yeah. It's so weird because Giovanni Bernard has been one of the best pass protecting backs in the NFL his entire career, and he really has struggled a little bit in Tampa, or it's just not been clearly communicated up front. It's hard to tell. Like last week, as Suckup does bang in the field goal, so it's a 17-point lead now for the Bucs, 27-10. So the door is still cracked for the Giants because they can't capitalize into the end zone on the short field. 3:53 left in the 3rd quarter. Giants are going to get a chance to come down and answer here. But yeah, that's the whole Giovanni Bernard thing has been very weird. Like the fact that they don't believe he can run the football, even though whenever he gets a chance, he's clearly shown he can run the football just as well as anybody else on the team, is weird. Yeah. The fact that they pigeonhole him into this tiny little role when he's capable of more is weird. The fact that he has not been good in pass protection, which is probably the number one thing he was signed for, and it's a very small sample size. He's had some good reps, but he hasn't been great at it, is very bizarre because he's 9 years of a track record for being a good pass protector. That is through a couple, at least 2 coaches. Like that's different offensive schemes. I mean, it's very odd. Like, I don't know if it's communication. Lately, it's been a little bit better, but then there was an issue in the last game. You and I kind of wrote about it or talked about it with the 3rd down to start the 3rd quarter in the last game against Washington, where Giovanni Bernard where Ryan Jensen picks up a linebacker he should have left for Giovanni Bernard. So Jensen made a mistake. He left John Allen as a free runner on Brady on third down. Brady had to throw it incomplete. Brady was held, Darden was held, and neither were called. But that play was egregious because Jensen made a mistake for sure. But then still would have been a free rusher on Brady. It would have been the linebacker instead of the defensive tackle. But Bernard never even looks there. He's setting outside of Smith, but the pass protection is sliding that way. So they never got the call right, I think, because Bernard never even looks inside. He's not dumb. It's not like he forgot. Like, he's executing what he thinks is his job on the play, but the line's sliding that way. So they never got the call right. And some of it's communication. He's also not held up well in a couple of rushes earlier in the season either. But then he's been good as a receiver, and he, for the most part, other than that one drop against Washington, where everything was going wrong. But he's caught the ball well, especially in the red zone for the most part. Like, he scored a couple touchdowns down there. Yeah. He's run the ball well whenever he's been given opportunity. It's just been so few. The whole thing it should have been a seamless fit. It hasn't been a seamless fit. It's weird.
Yeah, it's so weird. It seemed like the pickup of the offseason, right? The biggest hole on offense. It's there.
It's like they're making it way harder than it needs to be with him.
Yeah, and it makes me think if it just is a communication thing, if he's just, I don't know. I know you said he's a really smart guy, but it's almost like, is he not where they want him to be in that regard? Which seems weird this far into the season with a pretty good offseason. And on that play, John, I mean, I'm going to need someone more informed than me to break it down, but it did seem like the whole offensive line was sliding right, leaving that edge guy just for the running back, and which is what you would normally do in most pass protection situations. You're going to leave the outermost guy. I shouldn't say most of the time, but yeah, it seemed reasonable there that the running back would be responsible for that edge guy, but not sure what's happening.
Could see Brady was surprised that he came in clean because he saw Bernard was out in the flat, and he was just like, all right, got to get it to you quick. And so,
and it's rare that the guys on this, I know you mentioned that Jensen mistake, but it's rare that the guys on this offensive line are the ones making mental mistakes. They're a really sharp unit. They really know what they're doing. Brady communicates well. Jensen communicates well. They do a great job of getting things solved before the snap.
Obviously, we're talking about some outlier plays because everyone can see protection. For the most
and you
part
said it, John. It's because of a small sample with Gio, so we shouldn't even make any hard indictments or anything. He's just had very few opportunities.
Right. Here we go. The Giants have it 1st and 10 from their own 25-yard line. Bucs giving them a light box. 6 in the box. Giants are going to take it. Hand off Saquon Barkley. He's going to run over the right side. He's going to pick up 12 yards. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka tracked him down from behind and tripped him up. And if you're the Bucs, you're in that kind of, now you're okay. We're okay with them running the football some, and I'm okay with it too. If they're going to get 12 yards every time, that's a problem. But larger sample size says that probably won't happen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, if I'm the Bucs, I'm more than happy to let the Giants run the ball here, and I'm banking on them not getting 12 yards of play.
Right. And here's Daniel Jones at the line of scrimmage, 1st and 10 from his own 37. He's changing some things up. He's done this a lot tonight.
Yeah, they're giving him a lot of autonomy at the line of scrimmage. Another year in the Jason Garrett system.
Seems like guys are having a hard time getting lined up, though. The play clock's down to 1 second. A handoff Saquon Barkley, and he's stuffed. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka just smacked him at the line of scrimmage. Tryon-Shoyinka's playing a heck of a game.
Yeah, where was he lined up there, John? Was he on the interior?
Left outside linebacker, I believe, there.
Oh, okay.
He beat somebody inside. And
he's gotten a decent number of snaps at that 3-tech even. And
they move him around. They stand him up there. They'll drop him off the ball from there a lot, or they'll rush him from there or loop him, run games with them all over. He's just so much more effective than Jason Pierre-Paul right now.
Yeah, I totally agree.
It is.
And looks like JPP's off the field for this rep.
Yeah. Anthony Nelson and Tryon-Shoyinka have this drive. And so 2nd and 10 from the Giants' 37-yard line. Here comes Nacho, clearly held. Jones throws down the field, incomplete. Let's see if they throw this flag on this one. And it looks like they will. Raheem Nunez-Roches. What a great
I really
didn't
think they were going to.
Yeah, that was pretty egregious.
Michael is saying that Barkley's hurt.
Yeah, that's Will Hernandez getting called for the hold there, and they're going to decline that. Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough call.
2nd and 20.
That would be a question for the math guys. I don't know off the top of my head what's the right choice there. I would be inclined to accept, I would think.
I would accept too. But yeah, I don't know. I would accept too. 3rd and 10, Giants from their own 37-yard line. Because, I mean, even if you get any gain here, you're probably going for it on 4th down, right? I mean, because you'd be near midfield. Here's Jones back to pass, 5-man rush, but it comes late and they throw complete. Kadarius Toney runs backwards with the ball and then he's tackled. So he had the first down.
Oh, and they're not giving him forward
backward.
progress.
No, they're not giving him forward progress because he kept his feet. That was a bizarre play. Caught it, had the first down by a yard, broke the tackle, but went all the way backward to break the tackle. Winfield tossed him backward. Then he couldn't recover and get his feet as he tried to go back upfield, and Winfield caught back up with him and made the stop. What a weird play.
Yeah, you saw that really well in real time. I thought he might have maybe been forced back, but you're right. He went back on his own to try to break that tackle.
Yeah, and 4th and 2, and they're going for it, just like I said. So I really don't understand. I mean, 4th and 2 is a pretty manageable situation. Here's Jones rolling out to his left. He's going to Anthony Nelson almost there for a sack, and Jones flips it underneath to Kadarius Toney at the last second for the first down. Anthony Nelson had him for the sack and just couldn't get him. Missed sack's been a problem all year, but yeah, not taking the penalty there comes back to bite him because I don't know. I mean, 2nd and 20, you'd have to get 18 yards in 2 plays basically to be in that 4th down situation. I like your odds the way the Bucs play defense. They keep everything in front of them. Here's a run for Barkley over the left side. He's grinding forward, and there's another flag comes in, and this is going to be holding again. The Giants are going to be backed up again here. Barkley back in the game, by the way.
Really weird game plan offensively by the Giants. I think they're really.
It's called Jason Garrett.
Yeah, that's right. It is right. But I mean, I'm not even just talking about running the ball, which is obviously a part of it against this Bucs team. Everybody knows to throw the ball, but even just what they're trying to dial up offensively, they're not like it's there for the taking, man. Just
yeah. What a great play by McClendon. Oh my goodness. Just absolutely shed the block. Awesome play. Here we go. 1st and 20 for the Giants from their own 47-yard line.
And that's why you can play a light box with this team, John.
Yeah. And they're going to throw. 4-man rush. Here comes Tryon Shoyinka with the pressure. He flips it out to Saquon Barkley complete, but Mike Edwards nabs him in the open field. Loss of a yard. So now 2nd and 21. And that was what a show. Tryon Shoyinka came flying in, and he has livened up the whole unit here. That was totally a game they ran up front, and Tryon Shoyinka just so fast coming in on those twists. You just can't get that kind of speed with anybody else the Bucs have up front. Like that athleticism is just unique.
Good fundamentals there by Mike Edwards. We saw Jamel Dean kind of screw up a really similar situation last week. So It's nice to see that cleaned up.
Oh, and here's Cam Gill on the field. No Barrett, no Pierre-Paul. Cam Gill, Tryon Shoyinka, and Anthony Nelson. 2 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Jones throws underneath. Again, Barkley makes the catch and just sheds Winfield, and he's going to pick up way more than he should on that play. Winfield had him dead to rights beyond the line of scrimmage. Couldn't bring him down. There is a flag on this play, too.
Yeah, Barkley able to get just by Sue there at the end for that big gain. Sue almost had him wrapped up.
This is on the offense as well, I believe.
Illegal block in the back.
Block in the back, okay, on wide receiver Darius Slayton. So now some calls even things down. Now it's going to be 2nd and 28, I believe.
Officials doing a great job in the second half.
Bucs are getting a lot of pressure here, but somehow, am I right that they have no sacks in this game? I'm looking.
Yeah, I think that's right.
They're getting a lot of pressure here. Jones is throwing it away last. Yeah, no sacks.
Pressure's been a factor.
So funny, right? This is why you never box score scout. 5 sacks in the last game. Pressure was a problem. No sacks in this game. Pressure's been pretty good throughout the game.
I think that's I'm glad that you brought up last game because that's a perfect example. I mean, I don't think there were 5 less consequential sacks in a game than there were last week, right? Yeah. Whereas today, 0 sacks, and the defense of the pass rushers made more of an impact today than they did all of last week.
Yes, and Speeder gets it. Statistical regression is happening, John. Back to the mean. I love it. It is happening a little bit. Bucs getting some calls here, and you do love to see that for sure. Makes a big difference. Hey, while we're on the show here, I want to make sure shout out our friends over at Living Golf Life. Just some awesome stuff coming out, and the holidays around the corner. Black Friday's coming around the corner. This is the place to go. If you have some buddies or whoever, relatives, whatever, who'd like to golf, this is the place to go, man. The polos are awesome. The hats are awesome. They have tons. They have koozies. They have glasses. They have all kinds of stuff over on their site. Check out livinggolflife.com. A great brand. I'm rocking one of their hats right now on the show. I love it. I love their stuff. And you can follow them on Instagram too, at Living Golf Life. Buy something from them. Tell them Pewter Report sent you. these are great guys. They started a business. They love golf and they believe it's a lifestyle. And they've got a vision for this business. So great guys to support and proud sponsors of the Pewter Report podcast, as always, greatly appreciated by us. And I also got to shout out our friends at Pin Chasers, because the Pewter Report Bowling League is off and running. If you're interested in joining that, you can email matt@pewterreport.com. Pizza nights. They got all you can eat pizza nights down at Pin Chasers, which is a blast. They got birthday parties, bowling leagues down there. They got 3 locations up there on the screen. Pinchasers.net. Great place to go for bowling, for food and fun. Great place to take the family. I'm personally excited to get my family out there, spend some time over at Pin Chasers. My girls have never been bowling, so it's going to be a fun time for them to go bowling. I think my oldest has, but not Harper. She's only 2, so she's not as much experience bowling, but it'll be fun to get her out there and see what you can do out there. But yeah, Pinchasers.net. Great food too, man. I mean,
that pizza was really good.
I know, right? You talk a long time on these shows, you get pretty hungry.
Yeah.
Here we go. Giants with a 2nd and 28. And now no penalties here is big for the Bucs defense, right? No penalties is huge. All right, Daniel Jones to start the 4th quarter here. Bucs lead 27-10. On 2nd and 28, Jones back to pass. Barrett wins inside. Passes tipped at the line of scrimmage, incomplete. Jason Pierre-Paul got a hand up, and he knocks it down. So 3rd and 26 coming up for the Giants.
So, John, I mean, I think that the Giants and the football team are a very similar tier of a team. I don't get it. Why do they look so good today, the Bucs, compared to how they looked last week?
I know this is going to sound like a lazy cop-out answer, but that's just football sometimes, man. Like it just happens. Now, there were things in that Washington game that were genuinely concerning to me because of the track record before it. And I mean, still concerning. Like the Colts are going to be really tough next week.
Yep.
And it's going to be a really tough game. Here's 3rd and 26, by the way, for Jones from the shotgun. Thought they might go with a screen. Tryon-Shoyinka breaks through, and he almost brings down Daniel Jones. Jones gets away, throws down the field. Incomplete, broken up by Jordan Whitehead, and it's going to be 4th down for the Giants. Tryon-Shoyinka had him around the ankles. Sack number 4, and he has been a monster tonight.
Pass rush, again, making an impact without getting those numbers in the box score, John. Huge part of the success today. And the secondary's done a great job of tackling when the opportunities are given up underneath, but just an all-around great performance so far by this defense. And remember, the 1 touchdown they gave up was because of the offense. I mean, excellent day for the defense so far.
Yeah, Bucs coach is going to have a hard time looking at this game and not playing Tryon-Shoyinka more. I mean, you need that spark up front. You need a guy that can win one-on-one quick. He has done it all night. Whether it's games or whatever it is, a guy that can move like that, you only need to give him slivers of space. We act like this is hard to figure out. You don't have to be this unreal pass rusher, technical prowess and all this stuff and break guys down every snap. When you're that kind of an athlete,
he's so fast.
He's so fast and he's so explosive, moves side to side. They don't have anybody else like that up front. The fact they got him in the first round is unbelievable. And the fact they're not using him more is criminal. It has to change. Give him credit on that drive. They got him out there.
I was just about to say, John, I wonder if we see Ronald Jones come in the game now as a kind of it gets to time where you got to just run the ball a lot.
Yep, and here's Ronald Jones in the game. Bucs pull, and he's around the right side. Great blocking, and he's going to have a nice run of about 12 yards there, I think. Oh, they say he's out of bounds, just short of the first down marker.
Oh, no way. Come on.
I thought he easily got that first down, didn't you?
I thought so too, but I really like the decision to get Jones in here now because those fresh legs. Fournette's gotten a lot of touches today, and they'll mix him back in, but you get those fresh legs in there when it becomes time to pound the ball and end the game. Mm-hmm. So I like it.
I like it too. Ball security is my question. Rojo's had 2 fumbles this year in pretty limited opportunities. Cam, we appreciate the shout out. Great show, guys. More entertaining than the game as Jones leans forward and has a first down. You remember the Ali Marpat injury happened on the 2nd drive of the game for the Bucs. Offense hasn't missed a beat so far. Stinney has stepped in and done a pretty strong job, at least from what we've been able to see live. As the clock winds 13:40 and counting left in the game, Bucs up 27-10 in the 4th quarter.
You saw those 2 pullers there, right? I think they pulled, was it the guard and the tackle or the tight end? I'm not sure who it was, but again, not something we saw a lot in the run game last year.
Yeah. Clearly, the Bucs are trying to establish the ground game now and run out some of this clock, wear teams down. Bruce Arians mentioned as Rojo gets the carry on first down and is just going to fall forward for 2. He mentioned that this is a area where they've done pretty well offensively is when they get these leads and need to run and grind some clock, that they've done a good job. And now 2nd and 8 from their own 35, they're in a situation where might need to throw after that first down run.
It was funny early in the season, a couple of those big wins, they actually started passing the ball a bunch when they were up in terms of win probability. They became even more pass aggressive.
Right.
I think it was just a statistical anomaly, but
yeah. Here's Brady from empty, and that pass is knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Went off a hand up front,
Yeah.
so 3rd and 8 is coming up here.
Looks like slant flat down at the bottom and a sticks concept up at the top. So
yeah, don't need to get that. I mean, to me, just keep doing what you're doing. Like it's 27-10. You know, you don't have a risky court. Like you just need to just keep driving the ball, keep being aggressive.
I think that was a fine play call, though, John. I mean,
yeah. No issue with the play call. I just mean in general, like I don't think it's like last 3 minutes of the game, just got to run and grind them down.
Right. You can kind of stay within your game plan a little bit.
Right. Yeah. And Brady drops back to pass. Good protection, and that one's going to be incomplete. And clearly not on the same page with Brashad Perryman there.
Yeah.
They need to get some receivers in who know what's going on.
That was really weird. They had that 3-by-1 formation that they use a ton, and they put Perryman as the X, and that's usually Mike Evans's role, right? And instead, they had Evans as that number 3 receiver there. So I think, and then some miscommunication there, because with that X receiver, you need to be able to see it on the same page as the quarterback. Like, are we going to end up making this go route a comeback, or are we going to make this comeback a go route, depending on what the safeties do, depending on the press? And yeah, it seemed like receiver and quarterback saw it differently there.
I keep going back to the Scotty Miller thing, and obviously it doesn't look like it's going to hurt him in this game necessarily, but it's just hard. Brashad Perryman doesn't really know what he's doing. Scotty Miller's been in this offense for 3 years. I'm so confused as to why the Bucs don't feel more strongly about Scotty Miller when he gets opportunities. Obviously, he's not he's a one-trick pony, but you didn't need him to come in and be a wide receiver 1 tonight. You need him to do this role, to catch that touchdown, the Perryman drop. That's what you need him to do. He only did it all year last year. Like I just feel like it's classic, like overthinking things. Oh, he can't do that much. Who cares? What he does at an elite level. Like that's a player you can use, especially when you're down a couple guys. Weird.
That's the luxury of having guys as good as Evans and Godwin. You can have true specialists in your offense that aren't versatile guys. And that's why in the offseason, I was making the case for Scotty Miller over Tyler Johnson, because I think Tyler Johnson is a more complete receiver. But I think what Miller gives you is kind of something more unique, whereas what Tyler Johnson gives you can be replicated better by Evans, Godwin, Brown, obviously. So, and I think it's the same thing with Perryman, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, Perryman is basically Perryman on his best days, on his best days was those 3-game stretch or 5-game stretch at the end of his first tenure with the Bucs. But his career has been a while, and he's never looked like that in those games. So, that's not who he is necessarily. Best case scenario probably was giving you something like Scotty Miller. And so you have Scotty, just use him. He knows the offense. So I don't understand that one. Scotty will probably be activated tomorrow, and he'll probably play against the Colts. You've brought Perryman up twice. He's shown no reason to have him up. Again, other than emergency situations, you keep him around in the practice squad. He keeps learning stuff. Great. I like it as a move like that. I just, beyond that, it's weird to me that Scotty Miller has not been a more important part of what this team does. I don't think he needs to play, but he only needs to play 15 snaps to get an impact in a game like this where Tyler Johnson's done nothing.
And not to mention, you still have Jalen Darden out there, right? That's another guy who's not always been on the same page with Brady, and not the sharpest receiver there just because of a lack of experience. Yeah. So how are all these guys getting in there over Scotty?
Right, especially when Scotty's healthy. Arians was clear; he can go, like he's ready to go. I didn't want to make a roster move yet, and I'm just not sure why. I don't get it, but
I think AB when he's back, that's they
huge.
really need him back.
I don't think he's going to be back for the Colts game. Schefter does, and he has more sources than me. As Daniel Jones throws quickly for a gain of 2 to Darius Slayton before he's knocked out of bounds. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be back. I think he's going to be back for the Atlanta game, maybe. I just don't know if he's going to be back for that.
I think what Brown does to this offense, though, it allows you to move your guys around so much more, and without sacrificing like that X position there with Evans, right? Like if you wanted to put Evans on that number 3, you're not sacrificing anything by putting Brown as that ISO guy.
Right. Here's Devontae Booker up the middle. He's going to get 9 yards and a first down, and the Bucs will let that happen all day. In this situation, clock winds 11:50 and counting left in the game. Giants are down 17 points, and they're still running the football.
Sounds like
I just don't know, man. Like I don't know. 1st and 10. Clock winds 11:30 and counting. Bucs up 27-10 in the 4th quarter here. 3-man rush. Jones underneath. Hit quickly is the receiver by Jamel Dean. Tony, gain of 4 yards. 2nd and 6.
That coverage starting to kind of tighten up a little bit too. They're trying to take advantage of that flat area now, but it might be too little too late.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the Bucs defense really just needs to prevent chunk plays and quick scores and things like that. 2nd and 6, Giants have it at their own 25-yard line. Jones in the gun.
And again, look at that soft coverage up top now.
Yeah.
A lot of cushion.
And he's going to hand off to Booker. And he has the first down, gain of 6. 1st and 10. Giants at their own 31-yard line.
But by the way, for what it's worth, they did have Mike Edwards up there playing tight, close to the line of scrimmage anyway. Yeah. So the Bucs, they're changing things up a little bit with their coverages. And now they're saying, okay, we were giving this up before, but now you got to look elsewhere. And the Giants haven't even adapted to that first exploit that was available. So I doubt they're going to adjust to the second one.
Right. Yeah, interesting. I think Sean Murphy Bunting's played most of this game. Here comes a little bit of pressure off the right side. Jones throws, tipped, intercepted. I believe that's Mike Edwards with the ball, and it is. Edwards picked it. Somebody tipped it running by. Was it David?
Might have been JPP.
Mike Edwards with his 3rd interception of the season. Somebody picked
it. Was White, but I thought JPP might have tipped it at the line of scrimmage, but Devin White definitely tipped it.
Running across there. White could have picked it himself. He just reached out with one hand, tipped it. Edwards picked it. Yeah, I mean, Edwards probably picked that no matter what, actually. He jumped it.
This has to be the best game they've had since last year, right? I know that
the
defense.
The Bears game, maybe.
Yeah, but that one was also – I thought the
Bears were so bad.
The Bears are so bad, yeah.
I mean, this is pretty bad, too.
Exactly. Not that the Giants are playing well, but I think they're playing better than the Bears did.
Yeah, 1st and 10, by the way, for the Bucs offense at the Giants 44 when we come back here to action. But, yeah, you're exactly right. The Bears, were really rough and pretty undermanned in that game. Bucs defense played really well, and they responded well in this one, too, and played well and bounced back in this one against Daniel Jones. Just looks lost. Like the play calling's terrible, and he just looks totally lost, man.
I think it's the play calling, like just at least from the TV copy. I think there's a lot of issues with the play calling, but I'm looking forward to jumping into the tape and seeing what we find.
Yeah,
but offensively, a lot of good trends. The early down passing, the up tempo early in the game, just. A couple of mistakes, but a lot of good process stuff.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
The only thing at this point is play action.
Right. And now the Bucs are going to get a chance offensively to kind of take control of this one even more. And hopefully they can finish this. I mean, they've had some opportunities to finish. The defense put them in some great situations, and they've really failed to deliver lately here, settling for a field goal. And then the last drive stalling out around midfield or a little bit short of midfield. And so they need short field here. Go down, get in the end zone here. And I think, again, come out, play action, take a shot.
They love
the middle of the field.
They really love to see him. They seem to love play action off of turnovers. Take that shot around the field.
Yeah.
They
and
did
this
it
early
earlier
field,
in the
they
game.
like taking shots.
They called play action a shot play just off of a turnover earlier in this game as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to, get a touchdown here and then get Blaine Gabbert in the game.
Yep, get Blaine in there.
The human victory cigar.
Yeah. Man, I tell you what, it's been nice. Devin White is I know he tipped that one, and Edwards probably picks it anyway because he jumped it and he was right there. Good job by Edwards keeping his eye on it and finishing. But Devin White, bad first half of the season. He's come out last 2 games. He's been one of their best players and played well again in this one. Lots of good. I know he crushed his own guy one time, but he does that pretty much every game. And so he's always going to have a few plays that make you scratch your head. But here's play action. Brady back to pass, throwing deep over the middle of the field. Got Mike Evans running to the 15-yard line. Evans going to go out of bounds at the 15, and he's gimpy now again. He's jogging out.
Does this team have some tendencies or what, John?
They do. We knew exactly what was coming. I'm hoping to see that Evans play again, but I have no clue what he injured there.
I'm hoping that's just Evans's weekly kind of.
I mean, he's already had a moment in this game where he's at the 18-yard line here. Maybe it was just cramps. We'll see. Again, nothing twisted there. It didn't look. I mean, I don't know if it was a hamstring. I just don't know. There's always something going on. But here's the Bucs, 13 personnel, heavy. Josh Wells and Brady throwing. Cam Brady over the middle of the field. Why didn't he catch with 2 hands? Was that far ahead of him? Brady thought maybe he'd bend it in a little bit more. It's incomplete, but
yeah, I don't know if that was the case. It might have been. It totally might have been. Yeah. But I have seen Brady make that mistake before, where he's not bending routes the right way or not fading them when he should. And Evans not looking great on that sideline.
Yeah, it's bad because, I mean, next week against the Colts is huge. That's a huge game, and you got to have Evans ready. You got to have – and nobody's looking at him right now for what it's worth.
Yeah. 2nd
and 10. So now you throw on first down, getting completion. Now 2nd and 10. They're going to run it. Fournette gets a yard. 3rd and 9. Do they want to finish the game? Come on, man. Finish the game. Evans gone to Dory Jackson that time, whooped him. And, yeah, hard to tell from that play. He just kind of opted to go out of bounds, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, I hope it's – Evans is back in.
Now he's back in?
Yeah.
He's in agony on the sideline. I mean, this is a 27-10 game. Like, what is going on? You don't need him here. I don't know.
Man coverage here from the Giants.
Here's Brady back to pass. Throws quickly. Rashad Perryman makes the catch, and he's only going to pick up about 5. So it's going to be 4th and 4 from the Giants' 12. And again, they can't finish in the end zone, and Brady's going to be very frustrated about that, leaving a lot of meat on the bone. This could be a much bigger score than it is.
Yeah, I thought that was a fine call there. They had they had a route that's kind of working as a pick for that slant underneath, but not really a rub concept or anything. But you just got to be able to get yards after catch on that, and it was good coverage.
Yeah. Frustrating for the Bucs offense. They haven't been able to put more points on the board in this game because they've had so many opportunities to do so. But obviously they'll take 30, and Suckup sends it through the uprights and gives them the 30-10 advantage with 7:44 left in the game. So, I mean, everything's not sorted out for this Bucs, but in terms of what they can control in this game, 3 for 5 in the red zone. The Brady drop's obviously a big one when you look back on it. The Perriman drop was a touchdown. There's points there that they definitely should have added to this. This should be a 40 point lead or 40-point game for the offense right now. But we've said that a lot about other games this season too. So, we come out of this game, obviously you feel really good. I think mainly about the defense, the fact that they've been straight up embarrassed by bad offenses, bad teams the last 2 weeks. Like, they needed this game to get some confidence back. Sean Murphy-Bunting, I'm sure it helps. Playing Mike Edwards more, something I clamored for at the beginning of the season, has helped. Playing Joe Tryon-Shoyinka, I think it's more, but at the very least, you're letting him rush, and you're seeing the impact. I mean, how many pressures in this game? Just been absolutely outstanding. Some of those key changes have really mattered in terms of the way that they've been able to find success defensively. But I almost come out of this game feeling better defensively than I do offense. Like, offensively, I've never felt that frantic. Like, I think they're going to be good no matter what. It's really if the defense cannot be garbage, and they were great in this game.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the offense, you're right. Like, because some of the stuff that's the good, right? Like the early down passing, they get away from that anytime, right? Like they went pass heavy on first down for 4 games last year. went right away from it in the playoffs, right? Like they even today they started with it, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, they're back to the first down runs and that sort of thing. So it's hard to feel great about those being long-term changes, but what you do feel great about are the players and the fact that AB is coming back and Brady playing way better than his stat line indicates today. Just so a lot of good in that regard. And you're right. I think the defense is the main thing that any Bucs fan would have wanted to see improve anyway.
Yeah, for sure. And Brady 30 of 46, a bunch of drops in there, several route running mistakes, but still 30 of 46, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the pick off Evans' hands on the drop. Obviously has not been sacked, has managed the pocket really well. Lots of underneath stuff, but has made plays down the field, especially intermediate areas of the field when he's needed to. In the passing game, Evans 6 for 73 and a touchdown. Gronkowski 6 for 71. We haven't even talked about him much. What a huge thing having him back on the field. And then Godwin 6 for 65.
Gronk was noticeable in the run game too on several plays. They were using him as a lead blocker. Early in the game, he was in there running to his side. His presence just can't be overstated, right? Just especially as a blocker, and let alone with those 6 catches for 61 yards.
Right. Yeah, no question. He has been tremendous in this game. I mean, some of those catches too, like the combat catch over the middle on 1st and 15. I think it was 14-yard gain or whatever. That was just such a great catch on the tier play you were talking about. And yeah, it's been a really good effort on both sides of the ball. I think Brady's just going to come, I know, out of this game being really frustrated. They didn't finish more in the red area, especially finished before the half. That would have really been a big one in this one, obviously, but they stuck with it. They responded to adversity, I feel like, and that's a real positive. And we're able to find a way to get this 30-10 advantage now, finishing the game here with 7:44 left in the fourth quarter. This should be a situation where why is Jason Pierre-Paul in the game? Why do you need him to go through this pain? You're up 20 with 7 minutes left. Like, right. That's the kind of stuff I don't really get. Like, manage this guy's playing with a torn rotator cuff. You don't need him to be in this game.
Yeah,
play totally Joe Trondrenko.
Totally agree.
I mean, you have Cam Gill active in this game too. Remember, I mean, he can play.
Just an awful throw by Daniel Jones over there on the first down.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Demetrius, appreciate a $5. Hope you guys get some Colts run game into your film session. Need to see what Taylor's doing well and how the Bucs match up. Yeah, that's going to be a very interesting game next week as Jones throws underneath. Whitehead almost jumped it. Slayton makes a tough catch, but he's tackled immediately. Gain of 5, so 3rd and 5 coming up for the Giants offense here. But yeah, this is going to be an interesting matchup coming up, Paul. Not to totally look ahead here, but appreciate the $5 super chat there. Because the Colts are playing really well, but they are running the ball like crazy. I mean, Carson Wentz had like 106 passing yards and they killed the Bills. Like, it's basically they're trying to like eliminate anything that he does. Everybody's going to kind of give him credit as they've been on this winning streak. His PFF grades has actually been worse as Pierre-Paul breaks through and forces the incompletion.
Worse than
his
last
PFF
year?
grades have actually been they've actually been worse over their winning streak than they were early in the year when they were losing. And obviously PFF grades are what they are. And Vea working out, by the way, on the field pregame is big because obviously the Bucs run defense is still good even without Vea, but with Vea against the Colts is going to be big. And you can tell he's still sore and in pain. So we'll see.
How are they punting here?
They're punting?
How are they punting? Oh, Joe Judge, that's how. He's like big time anti.
Oh,
this is his, I'm losing anyway, and I want to stick a middle finger to analytics while I'm at it.
What is this guy doing? I wish the Bucs would have blocked that.
Yeah, I mean, oh, here comes Blaine Gabbert.
Is it Gabbert?
Yes, sir. I'm a bit ahead of you now.
Oh, I was not expecting. Oh, there it is. Scott's going to be happy. Blaine Gabbert in the game.
The human victory cigar.
Dun, dun, dun. I hope they stay aggressive here. 3 throws with Blaine Gabbert. Brady, let's see, 2 more touchdowns. So he gets to 29 on the season, right?
Right. So that'll be after 10 games on almost 3 a game pace.
Yeah. All right, Gabbert under center, handoff. It's going to be Keyshawn Vaughn getting the ball, and he's going to be up. And Josh Wells is in, Stinney's in, Hainsey's in. So Kappa and Wirfs are still out there.
Wouldn't
Second
mind
and
seeing
7.
Wouldn't mind seeing Rojo still get some more snaps as well, because he's more likely to be a legitimate part of the rotation going forward than Vaughn is. Though not complaining either way.
Right. 154 touchdowns for Brady in his 40s. Incredible. Here we go. Blaine Gabbert under center. Bucs lead 30-10 in the fourth quarter. 6 minutes left in the game. Gabbert, handoff for Rashad Perryman. This play's going nowhere. Perryman loses 3 yards, and they're back to 3rd and 10. Bucs have basically sleptwalked through the fourth quarter on offense, which obviously they could in this game. But yeah, next week against the Colts is going to be so fascinating, Paul, because as I was saying, I mean, it is very rare that you see a team win. I'm going to check for you here. The Colts have not lost in regulation since week 3. Okay, Paul? They started the season 0-3, lost to the Seahawks, Rams, and Titans. They beat the Dolphins by 10. They lose in overtime to the Ravens. Then they beat the Texans and the 49ers, lose in overtime to the Titans, then beat the Jets and the Jaguars as Gabbert gets sacked on 3rd down. It was basically turtling up before anything even happened there, but it was not good pressure either. And then they beat the Jets, the Jaguars, and then they blow out the Bills. That's the first good team they've beaten. But they had taken 2 good teams to overtime in the Titans and the Ravens. So it's interesting, but the most interesting part of it is that you rarely see a team. They won 5 of 7. They've gone to overtime in those other games. Carson Wentz is really not hardly done anything in those games, except basically not turn it over. And the Titans game, he had 2 interceptions. That was the big reason they lost that game. Since then, 272 yards. He had a good game against the Jets, and then 180 yards in a win over Jacksonville, no touchdowns. 106 yards in 1 touchdown, 11 of 20 against Buffalo. He's throwing underneath. He's checking it down. He's not taking sacks. He's not turning the ball over. But can you win like that as an offense, running the ball the way that the Colts are running the ball against the Bucs defense, the way that the Bucs defense is built? It's going to be a fascinating matchup next week.
Well, if he's willing to just make the smart underneath passes, that's going to work against the way the Bucs defense typically plays at coverage. But if they're sticking to the run, then I think the Bucs have a great chance. It just depends on how willing they are to get away from it. Because as great as the Colts run game has been, I still am taking the Bucs run defense.
Right. And the important part of this game, by the way, is just getting out of it healthy now at this point. And you have Cam Gill and Anthony Nelson out there rushing off the edge. Trying Schwenka inside, beats the guard. Great move. Jones throws underneath. 5-yard gain to Devontae Booker.
I agree with Vortex, by the way. Brady should be back to leading the MVP race after today. Not a doubt in my mind.
Especially Kyler Murray didn't play this week. Lamar didn't play this week. Josh Allen played like garbage. Stafford hasn't played well for a while. Here's pressure up the middle, but the Giants pick it up pretty well. Jones throws outside. Did Golladay catch that in bounds? I don't think he did. He had a clear – nope, he stepped out of bounds before he caught that ball. Did you see that play? He was standing all by himself. He just got too relaxed and stepped out of bounds before he caught the ball.
Jeez. Well, let's see if the Bucs defense can really go the whole game without giving up a real touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Okay, 3rd and 5. Pressure coming up the middle. Anthony Nelson drops Daniel Jones. Loss of 11. 2 sacks in 2 weeks for Anthony Nelson. You got to love it.
The blitz packages are working today even. I mean, that's how you know it's a good day. The allegedly solved blitz packages.
Yes. Yeah. Looks
that's not pretty, a bang at you. I agree with you.
Yeah, looks pretty good against this O-line.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of issues for years now. It's just a matter of time. This regime is so miserable for the Giants. 4th and 16, and now they're going for it. Pressure coming, and Pat O'Connor and Cam Gill gets there. Cam Gill gets the sack on Daniel Jones. So Cam Gill, Anthony Nelson, Joe Tryon-Chunka, and Pat O'Connor break down the Giants starting offensive line on back-to-back snaps.
what's the process behind going for it there and not going for it on the 4th and 5? What, because you're scared of giving the ball up at your own 30-yard line? What, now you're 10 yards further now? Like, there's no actual process there. That's just, I do what I feel like.
Great response by the defense, though.
Absolutely.
Next week will be a different type of test for sure. Giants have just not done anything well. It's just amazing. I mean, the Giants have so many weapons, and they're just so miserable.
But I wonder what the Giants' longest drive was today. It was probably their first drive of the game where they got the field goal, because other than that, a big answer to last week's issue, right, where they let Washington just keep the ball for the entire fourth quarter.
Yeah, I mean, totally different. Basically been barely even giving up a first down to the Giants in all these situations. Just totally dominant. Elite performance.
Giants defensive coach letting them, or some sort of coach letting them.
O-line coach, maybe.
O-line coach, yeah. Too little. I mean, I don't know why now.
Yeah, at this point. And I think Sean Murphy Bunting, he wasn't great in the first half. I get that. I mean, he's fine. I still think he played okay. Like, I don't think it was the end of the world as Vaughn gets dropped for the loss of a couple after it gained a couple on first downs at 3rd and 10. And a beach ball is on the field, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to point out guys who've had a bad game, right? I mean, I guess Cam Brate comes to mind. Maybe Perriman. But I don't really know.
Yeah. So 7-3 it's only a matter of time. 2-minute warning here. 7-3, and it feels pretty good, Paul, to be calling a game where things aren't nail biter, and really at any point in the second half or any point in Bucs did a great job after the ref screwed them out of that touchdown of responding and going out, taking care of business, doing what they needed to do, putting up 30, which is obviously their goal every game, as many as they can, I guess. But so. Yeah, now it bumps into this Colts part of the schedule, and this is where it gets interesting because, this game looked pretty easy a few weeks ago, and now the Colts have rattled off a few wins in a row and just dominated Buffalo. I mean, smoked Buffalo with only 106 passing yards. So, like I said, that matchup next week is going to be really fun, that run defense against this group. But some big things loom still, like what happens with Ali Marpat.
Is it Colts then Bills?
No, it's Colts and then Falcons, then Bills.
Oh, okay.
You need to get Antonio Brown back at some point. Does that happen next week? Do you get Ali Marpat back? Do you get Vita Vea back? I mean, those are huge losses. What's Mike Evans' status after this game? We've seen guys come back in games like AB with the Eagles game when he was hurt and then miss, 4 games now, and maybe 5 if he misses next week. So what's Evans' status coming out of this game? Those things are all huge.
Scotty Miller, do we see him back?
He's got to be activated by tomorrow, or his season's over. He's got to. This is his last day is tomorrow to be activated, and I'm sure they will activate him. So yeah, what kind of a role can he play if he has to play next week? I mean, he's probably going to have to play, even if AB plays. And so, yeah, lots of questions, no doubt about it.
Where's Carlton Davis at this point, John?
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, again, would be pretty unlikely to see him open the window this week, maybe for him to return, and then he'd have 21 days to come back. So maybe his window gets open this week, and then he'd basically have to be back by the Bills game. Am I doing that right? Colts, Falcons? I think by the Bills game, probably he'd have to be back, or maybe you can set it up so that he can come back the day after the Bills game in case he's not ready, get that extra week of practice, be back for the Saints game. But yeah, you're starting to look at guys like that and say, okay, when can Vea be back? Gronk's back, and hopefully there's no recurring injuries with him. And so is he good to go moving forward? Marpet's a huge one, quad strain. Or was it a pec strain?
I'm not sure. I didn't even see the play where it happened.
I didn't see the play either. We actually never got to see the play, so that would have been nice to see that play. Here's 3rd and 9 for Gabbard, back to pass. Pressure immediately, quick screen to Darden, and didn't let his blocker get there. And, it's the nuances, right, with Darden, like, are just still not there at all. Got to have better vision awareness than that. You got to let Stinney get out there, cut inside of him. And you had something there for real. But 4th and 4 from the Giants' 34-yard line. So you're getting a 51-yard field goal attempt here, maybe? Or are you just going for this on 4th down? You're not punting, right? Are you punting? Maybe.
They're going for it.
Are they going for it? Yeah, go for it. What the heck?
Yeah, why not?
Come on, Blaine, make a play.
Just to stick it to Joe Judge.
Yeah, just to stick it to him. Here we go. Gabbert from the shotgun. Cam Brady in the game comes in motion. Gabbert takes the snap. Giants are sending people. Move the pocket, and Gabbert throws. Tyler Johnson makes the catch, and he's got a first down.
Just a QB sprint out.
Yeah, now they'll kneel it here, right? Giants have timeouts. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd have to. They
probably not.
I would certainly hope not.
No, this is a kneel out situation. So, all right, the Bucs win 30-10. They improve to 7-3 on the season. And defense, a great performance. The only touchdown they gave up, drive started from the 5-yard line. They handed the Giants 7 points. They got a couple drives taken away from them, and they still come out of the 20-point win. Could have been much more convincing, but it's still a quality win. Took care of business against a lesser opponent that was playing better of late, especially defensively. Bucs offense did really whatever they wanted in this one in the passing game, whatever they didn't shoot themselves in the foot over in this game. And so big game for them. Get back in the win column. They got the Colts, who are now 6-5, the Falcons 4-6, then the Bills, the Saints, Panthers, Jets, Panthers. They've got a lot of like around 500 teams in that mix, and the Bills struggling right now, obviously 6-4 though. And they play a short week, by the way. They play on Thanksgiving against the Saints, I believe, right? Is that right?
I'm not sure.
Am I right on that one? Who plays Thanksgiving? I'll look.
But
no, yeah, Bills Saints Thanksgiving night. That's a big one. So,
but no reason for the Bucs not to be favorites in every single game, right? But it's
no reason at all. Should run the table.
It really feels like they control the outcome of every single game, including their losses. You know, it's really they win or lose by their own merits.
Completely agree with you. By the way, if you've been in the show, thanks so much. Hit like on your way out if you haven't. Thanks so much for jumping in. If you hit subscribe, we appreciate that greatly too. Got to 6,000 on this show. Bucs got the win. Terrific show. Thank you for all the thank yous in the chat. Your appreciation is much appreciated by us. But stick around. The post-game podcast is coming up here in 45 minutes. We're going to celebrate this W midnight. We got the post-game podcast rolling live. We're going to have all our commentary and thoughts on this game for y'all, including a little look ahead at the end. We'll do our Manscaped game balls as well. Going to be a fun time on the post-game pod, so stick around. Stay up with us on midnight. Hey, it's a holiday week. It's Thanksgiving week. Stay up a little bit, going to work a little bit. Everybody's going to understand. Big Bucs win. They get back in the win column. It's great stuff. Y'all are great. We appreciate you jumping in here and joining us. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you here in about 50 minutes or so for the post-game podcast.